Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to Legacy Division. We are here tonight for round number 6 of the championship, fresh from our transfer window, and we come to the Saudi Arabia circuit, of course, the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia for round number 6 tonight. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Tuesday evening. Hope you are all doing well. And joining me in the comment box is my new, now regular partner in crime. It is Mr. Ross Greenhorn. Ross, how you doing?
Very good. Welcome along, everyone, to the WOR Legacy Division once again. Well, what that week off has brought us has been hectic in the esports community. Teams shutting down, teams moving, people, drivers moving, rebrands. It's had everything. And, well, we're going to cover it all as best as we can for you today during this fantastic full qualifying session and 25 laps around the Jeddah Corniche circuit last week. 2 weeks ago, Sam Gamer picked up that win in the Qatar Grand Prix with PSR Sav on what was actually PSR's final race in the Legacy Division after their closure. So you also have Shizuo Lakogan in third, and Liam Bowman picked up that fourth place for Novice Racing.
Yeah, Paradox Sim Racing, of course, rebranding as F7R, and F7R now the new rebrand. Parnell Racing, by the way, they were rumoured to have a rebrand. They're going to be known as Parnell Racing moving forward, at least for this round, anyways. They're going to be known as Parnell Racing. But yeah, Sam coming out on top, Sav in second, Volokongan in third, of course, Volokongan, very good, consistent driver, of course, on the PS side, along with Sam, who got robbed potentially last night as well, which I do not want to talk about at all. We're going to avoid any talk about what happened last night in the other league. Liam Bowman in fourth, along with Ian Van Unen, then Sergio Axe, Gabor, Keane, and Ruti. The big shock, actually, though, Ross, last week was no OP in the top 15 of the standings. Both of them, I think, DNFing in the end. Disappointing. They're still out on top in terms of the teams championship coming into tonight. They're on 188 points compared to Novus Racing on 161. But Novus had such a good week last week. OP now, are they now becoming the hunted rather than the hunters?
Yeah, no, definitely. Novice Racing really up in their game. Liam Bowman actually won, picking up big points for that Novice Racing outfit last week, and with MVR Stalks making his debut in the Legacy Division, along with Axe F1 once again, 2 weeks in a row. We're seeing the American come out for Novice Racing. So, yeah, two really strong drivers back out for them. They'll be looking to see what they can do. If they can gain any more points on Outplayed Racing and really keep that championship close as we approach round 7, which will be coming next week. Parnell Racing not out of the shout yet either, though. 142 points in third place. Another strong lineup for them. Maybe in next week we won't be Parnell Racing. Maybe there's a rebrand, but until then, Parnell Racing are still about and kicking in third place.
Yeah, definitely so. And F7R, not too far behind either. 113 points, of course, formerly PSR, now, of course, known as F7R. They're going forward in fourth position. Team Shizu in fifth on 100, with G League in sixth and 98. G League has really been the underdogs, I think, so far this season in Legacy Division. Bunga Racing team, they need a strong result because potentially come tonight. One of their favourite tracks here in Saudi Arabia. They're in 7th on 71. NLR in 8th on 65, along with ET8 in 9th on 65, also tied on the points. Then FRT in 10th on 50. And then one team that actually escapes my mind. You might have to fill in for me with this one, Ross. Down in 11th position. I don't know how many points they're on, but we are missing one on the graphic as always. So there's only 10 teams shown on that graphic. But what we can do as well is have a look at, well, this is a bit of an eyesore to you and me, but this is the roster changes that everyone has happened. Now, bear with us. We're going to try and run it through as best as we can. Clenzo, Kai, Sav, and Enzo are all in for Parnell Racing moving forward. So Sav Racing for Parnell Racing from F7R. Of course, he left the team there. Moba and Kettle in for Dirk and Benza. Following along with me? I hope you are. Hazara, Havmik, Dirk, all in for ET8. Then Ethan and Max representing G League. They're now in, replacing Flopman and indeed GL Enzo, who did move, of course, to Parnell. Rudy, very interesting name. He's going to be here tonight as well. Aurelian, Stefano, Urpek, and Yossi all replacing Kai, Nick, Sav, Bradders, and Nams. Rick, Ewan, and Macho replaced by Ruti, Arch, and M-Racer, respectively. Then we've got BRT replacing Aiden and Allison with Furious and Lou. FRT replacing Chelsea, Rain, Doward, and Brujay with Dan, Luca, Typical, and Raptor. I really hope you are following with this, by the way. Rudy, Kart Racer, Tales, and Gavano replacing Ruti, Urpek, Kilcree, and Roofy. And then the most simplest of them all, Nick replacing Rev for Novus Racing. There we are. Full roster changes, 30 in total. And judging by some of their names and some of the names that we're going to be seeing tonight, Ross, it is going to be very intriguing to see how they get on track.
Yeah, no, so many changes there. I do hope everyone was following along. But one of the big ones I have to point out, F7R, bringing in Taicho Hardy. Some of you may know him from PSGL F2. He was one of the top drivers of that coming towards the end of the season there in PSGL F2 PC side, coming back to PlayStation. Such a dominant driver on PlayStation and a really good run in the esports, in the Challenger series, sorry. And he had a really good run in there, so he's really hoping to see what he can do tonight to help F7R out and what will be their competitive debut as the F7R rebrand. That was formerly known as Paradox Sim Racing. People were hinting the fact that it was just a lot of the Talent Factory team, but whoever it may be, F7R is their official name, so we will go by what we know them as. You also see on your screen Kai Pearson. And also the fact you see Reese Linton. These two are PSR Kai and PSR Sav. They have been a couple of gamer tag changes, maybe for the Parnell rebrand, what might be coming up soon, but none of us really know how far on they are with that. But yeah, you can see everyone racing Eddie, Nando Jr. and Ryan, another really strong duo for OP who need to bounce back this week after a really poor showing in Qatar.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get on track. By the way, we're gonna skip through the track map, but everything you saw a brief look there at him who's gonna be racing here tonight. We will remind you, of course, as we go through. But one of the PSR men, of course, is Reese Linton. He's now on the run toward the left-hand turn number 1. Of course, on that set of intermediate compound tires, of course, ignore these first runs for the majority of them. They're on that set of intermediate compound tires just so they can actually keep a fresh set of softs before they go, of course, through in towards Q2 and potentially into Q3 as we go through as well. Keenan, by the way, is taking a qualifying ban for F7R as well, so that was a preempted move for F7R. So Keenan already out of the session. Everyone else, though, 4 spots now, potentially, for the knockout phase here in Q1 as Reese now comes through the right-hander of turn number 8, then through the right-hander of turn number 9, and into the left-hander of turn number 10. Through this fast part of the section, that was Jamara Hotel on the right-hand side as we now come in toward the left-hander of turn 13. A 33.8 is actually not too far off what we are normally seeing on the dry compound and side rounds here. We should be seeing 31s though as we go through the sessions, Q1, Q2 and Q3. Joseph saying morning in the chat as well. Good evening to you, Joe. Hope you are doing very, very well and feeling rested after the chaos that ensued on Friday night, of course, in console tier 1. Reese now coming through past the Red Sea part of the track on the left-hander, in toward the left-hander to now turn 22, 102.9 in the middle sector. We should be seeing 1 minute flats through that middle sector on the dry compound tires. So we should be seeing the drivers improving. Reese, though, on that set of intermediate compound tires, now coming into the left-hander of turn number 27. Sam McLean saying in the chat as well, we live in a society which is very, and the sound apparently is a bit off. I will fix that in the meantime as Kai comes to the line with the 130.8. I think Reese is slightly up on his time, so we'll see what Reese can do on the run to the line. And actually, just a 10th down, 30.9. I will fix the sound though, and I will get onto that immediately.
Yeah, no, Reese Linton and Kai Pearson topping their way to the session as we usually see them. Gia Lethan just across there as well. You may be wondering, why are these drivers on intermediates on a dry track? Well, it's just a usual part of a full qualifying session. Obviously, Qatar last time out was just a short qualifying with the sprint race. But yeah, so the full qualifying, you usually see these drivers on the intermediate tyres to make sure everything's all right with their setups, whatever it is, equipment-wise, everything's working nicely. But yeah, we usually can have a little bit of an inter-championship of with Kai Pearson currently topping off that list. A couple of drivers will be leaving it a bit later on though for their soft lap. BRT Magician are going to get us going though for the first proper soft lap on the track. You see him there on those soft tires. He's going to carry on through. He goes through the final corner now. Also got Axif on his lap. BRT Joe Murphy across the line in 5th place as well. But BRT Magician just going to go on and start off his first proper lap on the soft tyre through sector 1. See how harsh those curbs are on the entry, carrying on, getting a nice little bit of exit on the exit there, carrying on through it goes sector 1, probably the toughest part of the track with the most corners on the track, 12 corners to be exact in this sector 1. Through the S section he comes, these fast corners, he hit you really fast, you're so close to the wall, it's a constant on the edge lap. Through he comes, taking all the curbs, and you see him flying on through the small little straight, not a usual overtaking opportunity, but a good exit over there can give you a really good one up the inside. Through he comes to the uphill left-hander. You can see a slight upward elevation through that left-hander, but one of the harder places to be getting a good amount of traction, flaring on down through this middle sector. You see this is the part where you might be seeing some drivers start to think about the overtaking opportunity through the heading on through this part of the track, the DRS, coming up very shortly. I know the revamped part of the track with the DRS opening now. You see all the way down this straight, we're hitting around 203 miles an hour minimum, kind of 204 with BRT Magician harshly taking that curve as well on entry sector 3. Now just one long straight with one proper corner here down at the hairpin corner. Oh, we're getting it really, really right. Don't want to lock up the rear, don't want to lock up the front. So if you lock up those tyres, it could be a bad position. We've seen Max Verstappen end up in the wall as part of the track in 2021. The Magician hooks it up nicely, a good exit, and he's going to come across the line shortly with the DRS helping him out with as much straight line speed as possible. 8th gear, BRT Magician across the line, and it is a 26.446.
Yeah, and only 300-second actually quicker than Axe there in second. Of course, Axe formerly part of VSR. VSR, of course, have taken 2 podiums around here in Jeddah in WOR Legacy Division in Season 1 and indeed in Season 2. I think it was ACOS in Season 1. And M-Racer, of course, picking up the podium, 2nd position last season in WOR Legacy Division as well. Hopefully the sound is okay. I am turning it up as we monitor the racing out on track, so it is a bit difficult for me to try and do 2 things at once, but hopefully that is getting to the business end, and hopefully we're getting to the fix of the problems. It is pretty much on par with my mic now in terms of the sound, so it might actually be my TV sound that is actually a little bit low, so I'm just going to turn that up very slightly indeed. As typical is on the run toward the line, typical that we are having a few technical issues in terms of the sound, but hopefully everything is okay. There's Magician out on top, Attack there in second, Kai Pearson there in third. We are going to get runners though on that set of soft compound tyre. The tyres that everyone is on the left hand side of your screen. It looks like Ethan along with Dan for next up for FRT and G League. G League, of course, 6th in the standings coming into tonight on 90 odd points. Down in 19th position for FRT. FRT have done well. Obviously, we run above typical right now. FRT have really, I think, overshone what their expectations are at the start of the season. Already seen some good performances from them. Of course, they've got Dan in and typical for tonight. Chelsea and Rain out. Probably experience now to the fore for FRT.
Yeah, no, they really came in and shocked everyone when they qualified for the Legacy Division, knocking out big names, likes of ET8 missing out along with everyone else. But yeah, the FRT have came in, they originally picked up that podium in Monaco. That was one of the ones where everyone thought, you know, maybe this team isn't all about, but sadly did lose that due to the stewards report. But yeah, they really came at the blocks really fast and just had a really good start. FRT Chelsea, who's now moved on to Novice Racing, so he's also one that had good results for FRT and really shown himself on the Xbox platform. But they've brought in new drivers here, FRT Dan, FRT Typical, doing their very best. What they know will be their first ever time in Legacy Division, especially for Typical. I know we've spoken to before, he'd said he's always wanted to race in the Legacy Division. Now he's got his chance to really show up and see what he can do for the team. But his teammate Dan, though, just starting off his first lap on the soft compound of tyre.
Yeah, let's run. I'm still on board with Typical. Let's run on board with Dan in towards the right-hander of turn 1 and through to turn 2, then to the left-hander now of turn number 3. This part of the track, through the first sector, you've got to really be on the limit. I'll take the timing tunnel off on the left-hand side, just so you can see how tight the walls are around this track. If you've driven around Saudi Arabia, you'll know that it is car killer corner crazy in terms of the potential moments that you can have on track. Mick Schumacher, of course, in 2021 in qualifying, having that huge stunt as we came through that part of the track. Dan there with 31.6 in the first sector, looking very, very decent indeed. The Haas now coming through the left-hand of turn 13, and then in toward the Red Sea part of the sector of the track, coming now through in towards right-handers of 16 and the chicane of 16, and then through the left-hand of turn number 17 on the exit, nearly touching the wall on the right-hand side. So looking quite good is the Haas man right now. Of course, this is only Q1. The bottom 4, of course, go out along with Kian, who's had that qualifying ban, of course, for F7R. Puts them on the back foot coming into tonight. 59.6 though, and from Dan in the middle sector, already on par with what we've been seeing in the top tiers in WOR, also in PSGL as well. So Dan looking good as now comes in toward the left-hander, return number 27. We will see what this lap time is. Of course, Max Verstappen famously hit the wall in 2021, and that collision famously in 2021 as well around here with Hamilton and Verstappen. I do not want to mention that again on this commentary, as Dan now on the run toward the line. Is he going to go quicker? No. 26.561, a 10th off Magician. Not a bad lap though from the FRT man.
Yeah, no, good start for a future racing team. About a 10th and a half behind Axe F1 and Magician, trying to improve on that as the session goes on. You see a couple more drivers coming through that final corner now, very busy. Sector 3, Wallakongan just getting himself started. Sergio is flying on through with his lap in for ETA. Both ETA drivers yet to get a lap in, but both on the soft set of tyre now through Sector 3, comes Matteo actually for the first ET8 car in the Mercedes, doing his very best. So your busy sector 3 is now cleared in front of him. You'll hopefully have a good little last corner here to hook this lap up. Through he comes to the last corner. A high brake bias choice really here is what you need to make sure the tyres don't lock up and you get a good amount of rotation during the corner. DRS opens up though for that Mercedes car. Teammate just in behind him. Matteo crosses the line first into P3. He goes, can Sergio beat him? Sergio crosses the line now, and Sergio goes to the top with a 6-2-9-1. That's a great way to get you started in this session. Matteo in fourth, Sergio in first.
Oh, Keki has crashed out. I think that is coming through the first sector, if I'm not mistaken. Coming through the left-hander there of turn number 6 and 7. So that part of the track, Keki claims its first victim. Unfortunately for him, out of the session. NLR not going to be happy with that one for sure. He's there down in 15th position in the AlphaTauri and did indeed crash coming through that part of the track. Taicho there, though, goes second. Good lap from Mr. Rudy himself. PSGL F1 champion, of course, back in the day. Only outscored, I think, a point from Legend Rosenberg, if I'm not mistaken, in that championship. Nando was looking quick, though, for OP. OP, of course, overshadowed by events last night, is all I'm going to say. But Nando looking to try and put OP once again on the map for the right reasons. He now comes in toward the left-hander of turn number 27. Of course, a very consistent driver around this track. Nando did well here, of course, in PSGL in recent times, as Reese now goes quickest with the 26 flats. And Nando on the run to the line. What can the Portuguese man do? Reese into that second now. Kai Peterson goes quicker. Nando to the line, 26.3. Good lap there from Nando. OP, though, we've got to go a long way to try and fix some of the things that have been happening in recent days, in recent weeks. That's all I'm going to say, though. I do not want to rant on about this because it is unfair on them. It is unfair on every single member of the team that I think has driven in a very clean and consistent manner. But Kai Adam top, Reese in second, Sergio there in third, Nando there in sixth. He is a specialist event here, so watch out for him in Q2, especially in Q3 if he gets there.
Yeah, you go BRT Joe Murphy just flying on through his lap. Had a bit of a mess up during the last sector, I believe, on his first attempt, but he's going to go on through this sector too now. One of the harder parts of the track here, this blind right-handed corner, turning too early, you hit the wall, turning too late, you're eating all of that curb on the entry. But through he goes though, nicely through that part of the track. DRS open up now, down this small little straight left and right, all the way through it. Not a usual overtaking opportunity, but one of those places where you want to get really close to the man ahead and really concentrate on getting a good exit and go for it during this next part of the track here, where the DRS is really helpful down this straight. An overtaking opportunity down the inside, one of the real main ones where people like to overtake down the inside here and have the DRS advantage going down the start-finish straight. With Joe Murphy, they'll come into the final corner now. Runs a little bit of a wider line than we've seen in some, keeps it close to the inside wall, rides out that curve nicely, and through he goes in. DRS opening up further with Alpha's Aston Martin car. P7 BRT Magician, Joe Murphy across the line. He runs out of ERS, but it is still a P5 for BRT Joe Murphy, just ahead of F7R Taicho and just in behind MBR Stonks.
Yeah, good lap actually from Joe Murphy, another specialist around here, of course, from Tier 2, did very well actually in the Tier 2 race around here. In 5th position, the Aston Martin there, 26.333, or as the Irish say, 333. That is a horrible pronunciation on my end. I do apologise to Joe Murphy and to any Irish viewers that might be watching this. But Kai Pearson had on top from recent second, Sergio there in third. Everyone coming back into the pit lane. The second ones are done in Q1. Liam Bowman saying in the chat, typical cooking on the 9-minute inter lap. He is currently there. He's actually not in the lobby, I believe, is Liam Bowman here tonight, but he is normally a part of the NVR team, and NVR currently have everyone in the top, in the Williams, I should say, Stonks and Axe, 4th and 10th position currently in their session. Sergio feels like he's done enough, 26.2. I feel like he's done enough. I think that's more than a valid time to get through into Q2. But everyone, I've got to say, from Magician downwards, maybe even Nando and Taicho in there as well, maybe even Joe Murphy. There's, what, 0.3 of a second covering Joe Murphy all the way down to Volokongan. There is no room for error in the mid-pack. So all of those drivers, I think, have got to go out. Otherwise, there's going to be 2 of them out in, potentially, Q1 going forward into Q2.
Yeah, definitely need to look out for trying to get these laps in. Ryan, Volokongan and Typical also on the drop zone currently. They've got to make sure they get all laps, and Typical now on his way out on the set of soft tyres. Ryan will need to just make out soon, and Volokongan also coming at the Alfa Romeo garage. Some people need to confirm their status in Q2 though. That'll be Grimbo, Giovanno and Dan as well. Really not safe. Matteo also looking at, and Axe F1. So yeah, if you're in about that bottom 9, sorry, you've really got to try and make sure you get a lap in. Otherwise you're really real danger of being kicked out of qualifying 1. Typical Ryan and Volokongan need the laps, and everyone else just looking for an improvement.
Yeah, definitely so. Typical there, down in 19th position, 31.8, not a valid lap really, along with Ryan and Keki. Keki, of course, crashing out of this session in the AlphaTauri. But typical there in 19th position, has got to get a very good lap time in. Same with Ryan as well, and it looks like at least the top, the bottom half of the field, pretty much from where I said Magician all the way down and on outlap. So they've got to try and get the improvements in. Magician routine acts, by the way, only separated by 300ths of a second on a 26.4, and then you've got a whole host of drivers on the 26.5, then another whole host of drivers, only one in this time, in Volokongan on the 26.6. Volokongan, though, normally leaves the best till last in terms of Q1, normally can see it through for Team Jizu. He's in the drop zone at the minute, Ryan in the drop zone at the minute. To be honest, two names that I would have imagined not being there. I would have certainly said maybe Grimbles, Gavano, Mateo. One of them three, I think, potentially could have been out in Q1. They could still be out in Q1. But Volokongan and Ryan at the minute, in the drop zone, not good from a Team Jizu, not good from an OP perspective, as Joe Murphy's retired in the pit lane because he hasn't got enough time to set another lap.
Yeah, I think Joe Murphy should be seeing himself through anyway with that P5. Stonks as well should be retiring, because then after that, I think that top 5, maybe even the top 6, should be through with their .3s. Nando Jr. as well, through in 7th. But typical though, starting off, it'll be his final lap attempt in qualifying 1. He's got to get a good lap in here, otherwise it could be an early exit for the future race team driver. Dan as well, not safe. Big slide into turn 1. I think that may have lost him a bit of time. Usually in this game, you can gain a bit of time for having a little slide here and there in the corner, but that one was a bit of a big one. Maybe too much to be gaining in time, but he keeps it good in 5th gear. Through this first sector now, it's all about keeping it as close to the walls as possible, but not clipping them as much. Keeps that curb nicely. A very easy place to ruin your laps on that outside curb there on his left-hand side before. He keeps a nice little bit of curb there. Through he goes in this sector 1. Is he up? Is he down? He's 2 seconds up on the intermediate time. Still nowhere near enough though. He needs to get a much better improvement, otherwise it could be all over for him.
Yeah, 31.7 in the first sector, nowhere near what I'm expecting in the first sector from there. So typical's already, I would say, about 3 or 4 tenths down on his lap time of what it could have been, as now comes through, passing the Red Sea on the right-hand side with the DRS now enabled once again, and the second DRS zone of 3 around here in Jeddah. Looks a bit like a fish, the circuit, doesn't it? It's typical 59.5 in the middle sector. It says purple. It's purple for him, not purple out of the session, though. Typical has got to try and get a good lap time in. Maybe knock the likes of Dan, Ethan, Volokongan potentially down in terms of this lap. Has got to aim ideally for 26.5 and a very high one at that to try and secure himself through into Q2. But typical now through the final corner. Hits the wall, actually, on the right-hand side. Coming through the final corner on the run to the line then with the Hassman. I don't think it's enough. He's going to be behind Volokongan. No, he's not. He goes 15, just barely improving. Ethan is 1100ths down at the minute. He's coming through the middle sector split, or towards the middle sector split now. Grimbles there goes 8th position. Typical and real and also danger here. Volokongan on a lap as well. He's next to come across the line. Is he looking good on this lap? 26.6. I don't think he is. Volokongan is out. Volokongan is out. Ethan is 1700ths down in the middle sector. He's only got 1500ths to find, but he needs to find about 400ths in terms of actually negating that advantage as Ethan now comes through the final corner. G-League man in trouble here in 16th position. Typical. Is he going to scrape through by the skin of his teeth? Ethan to the line, finds the time and goes 13. Big lap time there from the Frenchman. Ethan there 13. Knocks Typical out. Ryan out as well. Volokongan, the big shock, I've got to say there, along with OP Ryan, who again with consistency hasn't been there in PSGL. But that is the end pretty much of qualifying. Magician there in 3rd, Stonks in 5th. Magician also improving in terms of his lap time, but Dan just scraping through 500ths of a second between FRT to FRT. Typical though out. Ryan out along with Volokongan. Keki, who crashed earlier on in the session, and Kian also out of Q1.
Yeah, big shocks there. Shizu in outplayed racing. 2 teams you're not used to seeing go out and qualifying. 2 teams that are always fighting for pole positions. Not today. Ryan had a big mess up on his lap. I seen it through sector 2. He didn't have a nice little blind right-hander. And Shizu Volokongan as well just didn't seem to hook the lap up together either. So, yeah, big disappointments for those 2 guys. Shizu Rutihula is through in P9, along with Nando Jr. through easily in P8. So, yeah, very interesting qualifying 2 coming up. FRT Dan through by the skin of his teeth. Typical almost had it, but GL Ethan saved himself in the end.
Yeah, and look at the times actually for Matteo and Dan. Same lap time set by 14th and 15th. 26.519. You cannot split them in between. And if that's anything to go by in Q1, we should see some really, really good action, of course, in Q2 as we move forward. But remember, if you're just tuning in, it's Legacy Division. One grand prize pool, 1.9k rig up for grabs for these teams out on track. We're only 6 rounds in, but we go now into Q2. Liam Bowman saying in the chat, well, I'm not going to say one word in particular in that, but FRT apparently did typical the dirty, is all I'm going to translate that to, with what he said in the chat, the Scotsman there. But Kai Pearson out on top from Reese Linton there in second. And why don't you have it? It is a Parnell Racing 1-2. Magician there in third with Sergio in fourth. Stonks there in fifth with Jay Murphy there in sixth. Big lap time actually from him. Specialist, as I say, around here. Taicho Hardy there in seventh on his return to the console tiers. Nando in eighth with Ruti and Nathan Gavan around the top 10. Ruti, of course, formerly NLR. Be interesting to see how he gets on in Shazoo. Grimbo's in 11th, but Axe in 12th. Ethan 13th. Then Mateo 14th. Dan there in 15th. Typical out of the session along with Ryan, Volapong and Kian. Keki and then Kian. Kian, of course, taking that qualifying ban. Keki not getting a lap time in on a second run. I believe it was on a set of softs, so he went for another run on there. Reminder as well, in terms of, that is the wrong graphic, in terms of the standings coming into tonight, before we get, of course, it back into Q2. Outplayed Racing out on top on 188 points. Novus Racing in second on 161. Parnell Racing in third on 142. But this now, Ross, is the main session, Q2. Normally we see the big improvements come. Normally we see some really good racing. And we are about to get going for Q2 right about now.
Yeah, it's a really important one for some of these teams. FRT looking to see if they can get Q3 this time around. Grimbles and Ethan, not looking the greatest, but they can see themselves through at Q3 if they can just hook the lap time together. Mateo as well needs to make sure he has a qualifying for ETA, who also had a really good qualifying one, mind you, so definitely do not write them out yet. But only one NLR driver, one ETA driver, is it one? No, sorry, one ETA, one OP driver, one FRT, and one Shazoo. Two teams not used to having one driver. There's OP and Shazoo, but yeah, they can have really good qualifying session here with Ruti and Nando, so they can really keep that going, especially for OP. No points last week. They need points this week, otherwise their championship lead is in real threat.
It is in real threat, and given how, of course, they were, as you mentioned, out of the top 15, both of them retiring last week. I think it was Benza and Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, off of my mind, in terms of outplayed racing. I just got a black screen there popping up on my laptop. Hopefully it doesn't mean that the stream has just gone dead. I can see it's running all fine, so it's all good. Axe one on the first out on track, so just rejoin the session to hopefully be able to get back in and get in his car ready for this Q2 session. Frankie is there in the chat wanting to try and show some support. Brad is there as well, mentioning about that. Bell Ruffick saying, I don't know why he did that. And Brad is also saying, Frankie not a fan of Taicho, which is a little bit, because they used to be formerly, of course, in the same team. I'm not sure if they still are now, Frankie and Taicho. Taicho, of course, mastering his craft, of course, on PCF2. Formerly, of course, PSGL F1 champion on the PlayStation. So Taicho back in here. It's a bit of a baptism of fire. I last commentated on him around here, actually, in Saudi Arabia, and I believe he finished in a podium position in PSGL, so it'll be very good to see how he gets on. However, the first man out on track, as I believe, is the NVR man of Axe, and he's on the run down in towards the start-finish rate and towards turn number 1.
Yeah, here we go, that's F1 then. Last week, P7 for him last week. Not as great a racer for NVR, but we know he's very, very strong around these street tires. Then the turn 1 he comes in, heavy braking zone, holding out 4th gear, and then jumps it in the 3rd, really late on at the apex, carries on through turn number 3 there. There's very slight kink to the left hand side, and you've got turn 4, a really hard corner, blind left hander. You've got to watch it for not taking too much curb there, otherwise the car could be lost and the lap could be gone. Through to sector 1 he comes in, the S section, turn 8, turn 9, now through turn 10, turn 11 coming up now, and turn 12. All these slight little kinks, all counting as turns, maybe not seen by the drivers, but 12 turns alone in that first sector is really something for the drivers to conquer. Through he comes into sector 2 at turn 13, that long left-handed corner, a very hard place to pick up some good traction if they're not careful. Through turn 16 and 17 now, this blind right left-hander with a very harsh curve on your end, on your inside. Down the straight he comes at turn 19 now. All these slight little kinks to the left and right really can put you off and look towards that really big braking zone at sector 3. Turn 22 now, this left-hander, and turn 23, a bit too deep on entry there was actually fun, but he carries it on nicely with DRS coming up now through this sector 3, turn 25, turn 26, and turn 27. The fastest street track in F1 history, 6.1 kilometres long. It was only the second longest track behind Spa-Francorchamps, which obviously is the longest track in F1 history. Here he comes in. DRS opens up for F1 as he comes across the line now on the inside line. F1 at 26.7 with probably a used set of soft tyres. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad at all. Very good lap, actually, from the Novus Racing man. Likes of Reese Linton on the lap. Joe Murphy as well on the lap. He's coming towards the line. Magician now goes quick as 26.4. Makes me think that he's on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Joe Murphy isn't. 26.9. Definitely a used set compound of tyre. Reese now on the run to the line. 59.4 in that middle sector from the Parnell Racing man as he comes to the line and goes quick as 26.3. Again, they might be on a used set, might be on a fresh set as Reese now goes into second because Kai Pearson's just outgunned him by a tenth of a second. Reese Linton now in second, Magician there in third, Ruti there in fourth, just following on board with Gavano, the NLR man, on the run toward the line. Not to be confused, of course, with our sponsors Next Level Racing, the Never Last Racing esports team in ninth position currently with Gavano as he comes through into the final couple of corners. Of course, one of their drivers out in Q1. So this is going to be now trouble for the NLR man. He goes 6th position, 26.7. Not good enough so far, I think, to get him into Q2. The likes of Nando on the lap as well. Nando's not really improving in that middle sector, to be honest. Ethan and Grimbo's as well coming through that middle sector. Grimbo's definitely on a good run. Ethan looks like he's on a good run as well. Kai Pearson out on top, Reese there in second, Magician there in third. Remember, more action to come for WOR PC Tier 1 tomorrow night. It is the Esports Invitational tomorrow night that is happening, which is very, very good indeed. They are moving it, of course, to Wednesdays because of the real-life racing, of course, in Qatar, due to the timing constraints with that. Kai Pearson out on top, Reese Linton in second, Magician there in third, and that is just to whet up the appetite a lot more for what is going to happen tomorrow night.
Yeah, Grimbo's up there in P7 now at 26.8. It's a really good start for G-League, a bit better than they were in Q1 with a couple of invalidations early on, but getting himself going nicely. NVR Stonks now out on track for Novus Racing. His teammate up there in P5 currently after his pretty solid banker lap. Kai Pearson and Reese Linton, though, previously known as PSR Sav and PSR Kai, having a really good start. Once again, I've got to say these two are two of the fastest drivers I've ever seen at this track, especially on the Xbox platform. They are constantly very good at this track, especially Reese Linton. He's took a good couple of poles around this track in various different tournaments and leagues, and well, he really started to show it here again in the Legacy Division. He goes on then, you can see everyone is practically out on track except from a couple of people. You can see Tycho Hardy making his way out on track. Now NVR Stonks is one of the furthest cars ahead, but Matteo and Sergio also think we're getting their laps going, so these bottom 5 drivers need to get their laps in early. Nando Jr. having a mistake on his lap, he's back in the pits and will be able to be ready to regroup and go again.
Yeah, OP having a disaster, let's just face it, last week, of course, in Qatar, in terms of their on-track performance, in terms of the racing there. They got involved in a few incidents, obviously had a few spins as well. We had very, very high tie rate, of course, 2 weeks ago. Remember, we were in the multiplayer cars, I think, 2 weeks ago as well for the sprint and the feature. And it was probably one of the best races I think I've ever witnessed. It was certainly the best race that I've certainly seen in terms of this as well. But we are back in the normal cars, back to bog standard Formula 1 racing here, of course, in Console Tier 1, Console Tier 1 in Legacy Division, not Console Tier 1. But Kai Pearson out on top, Reese Linton in second, Magician there in third, Stonks now about to produce potentially a stonking lap as he comes now through the left-hander of turn 1 and then through the right-hander of turn number 2. NVR are going to kill me for that pun as now they come through the left-hander of 3 and then through the left-hander once again of turn number 4. The Williams now really hunkering the car down through this first sector. Plenty of downforce needed through this setup as now comes through the right-hander of turn number 8, through the right-hander of turn number 9, passing the Saudi Eye on the right-hand side, passing the Al Jamara Hotel on the right-hand side as well, and now we come in towards the middle part of the track with a 31.5 in the first sector, and looking good so far from Stonks. It says it's purple. I do not believe that for 1 second, but we'll see as he comes toward the end of his lap. Kai Pearson out on top, Reese in second, then Magician there in third. Cameron Cook saying hello there in the chat. Brad is also saying he's expecting big things this lap from Taicho. We will follow him. He has just started up his run, coming through the first couple of corners. Stonks is in the middle sector right now. He's about to approach that middle sector split, and his middle sector split says 59.2, exactly where I want to see him on in terms of that. Of course, lap times compared to F1 22, much quicker, about 3 seconds quicker actually, in terms of the lap times around here. So Stonks really finding his voice, really finding his feet in terms of this lap as he now comes into the left-hander. This very tricky left-hander, turn number 27. You will see a bit of rear-locking in the race, and you will see a bit of contact in the race like we saw in PSGL around here as Stonks now on the run to the line. Is he going to go quickest out of everyone? Yes, he does. 26.1. Good lap from the NVR, man, and they need that to try and outscore Outplayed Racing.
Yeah, no, they've been able to keep picking up these results, and it looks like a good start already from MVR Stonks. His first race in the Legacy Division this season for Novice Racing, and well, he had really shown himself early on in his qualifying tour. It says an F7R Taicho, though, is really forward on with his lap. He's been flying on through that middle circuit really, really well. He seems to be having a pretty low downforce setup for the F7R driver. Keep going down at this sector 3, one more big corner to go for him to hook up. If we can hook this up, this could really be jumping ahead of Stonks. It'll be an absolute flyer. The QTC, that's the Martin ahead, though. Might have put him off a little bit, blocking him, I'm not sure, but that definitely put him off a bit. He's going to take the toe across the line. F7R Taicho will cross the line now for F7R, and he does go to the top with a 26.063 change, but that potentially says that could be a 25 in there.
There could be a 25 in there. That was a very good lap from Taicho. Really hunkered down in terms of the car. He had Magician ahead of him just done up on a lap. I thought there was going to be contact for one brief moment coming through the left-hand return 27 there. It was dangerous, but Taicho's out on top, and it really doesn't matter. You can still be top. There is a Mercedes with a broken front wing, and Nando has just been completely impeded by it as well. That is Sergio for the ETA team, and Nando has actually hit Sergio on the way into the pit lane. OP once again, and look at Sergio trying to get past him once again. I don't know what is going on between these two. Nando there down in 15. Not needed. Not needed. They're already in the mud enough. And what they've been going on in the last few weeks. They do not need another incident whatsoever. OP need to get their act together and get it together quick. Because put it this way, Nando's going to be out in Q2 and they've got nobody to blame but themselves.
Yeah, that was... Not if Nando Jr. I saw. There was no need for that during the end of it. Wasn't nice, but XF1 jumping to the top of the session with a 25.98 before we get back to that incident between Nando and Sergio. He seems like more of a an annoying tap to give him, saying, what was that all about? You know, should have got out of the way, but. Yeah, Sergio, he probably could have got out of the way earlier, but yeah, that is just not. There's no need for that from Nando Jr. The retaliation wasn't needed. But BRT Magician, the lap times are really coming down now, James. His teammate BRT Joe Murphy is going to come across the line shortly. Ruti Gulick jumps up into P7 with a 26.2. Joe Murphy next across the line for Bunga Racing Team. If they can go get a 1-2 early on in Q2, they're not gonna though. As Joe Murphy is actually into the pit lane. But what a lap from Magician! That could easily see him through into Q3.
Yeah, Kai Pearson, though, was on a stonker as well. He's currently on around a 25.8, but Reese goes quickest, 25.8. Is Kai going to follow up with a 25.8? No, 25.9 goes third, but still, Parnell Racing absolutely cooking here in Saudi Arabia. Reese out on top, Magician second, Kai there in third. Stunning lap times being set here in Saudi Arabia. Again, it's not really needed in terms of even the smallest thing like that was out of frustration from Nando. I completely understand. We've all been there where you've had your lap blocked and you have to try and really calm yourself. Nando should have just remained calm. There's still plenty enough of time in this session to try and get a lap in. I'm not sure what his actions were, but what his actions were in the wrong way there. Reese out on top, Magician second, Kai there in third. Nando there down in 15th position, in trouble, along with Sergio. Both of them not getting lap times in. Sergio broke his front wing, I believe, through the middle sector, the ET8 man. But Nando there down in 15th. Not a good echoing margin for OP so far. Down in 15th, I really backed him coming into tonight as being their best chance of potentially getting pole position. Needs to up their game, quick. 3 minutes to go in the session. Reese out on top, Magician second, Kai and Pearson third. And Ross, we could get to the end of the session by saying both OP drivers out in Q1 and 2.
Yeah, very, very unlikely, and I tell you what, they are almost handing NVR the lead of the championship. They've got to get their act together and just see what they can do. Nando Jr. will be out the pits very, very shortly, I presume, but I can probably see a penalty coming his way for the retaliation that he did. But you can see a very busy sector 3 already. FRT Dan messed up his lap, so he won't be going again, but it's Kai Pearson and Reese Linton also into the pit lane. So yeah, it'll be the Aston Martin of BRT Joe Murphy. He's got to get himself out of that qualifying 2 drop zone. GL Ethan and GL Grimble, 2 drivers headed at the start. They've got to get their laps in together, but yeah, Grimble's and Ethan currently 11 and 12. They'll both be looking to go out. Sergio and Nando finally making his way out the pit. Sergio also making his way out. That's bottom 5. Got to get their laps in. Along with Giovanni, he is not safe either. Yeah,
Giovanni there not safe at all. In fact, actually, all the way down from Taicho I think downwards. We could see Gavano, Grimbles, Ethan easily improve, maybe 8/10, maybe 9/10 in terms of their laps. You never know here in qualifying. As Murray Walker once said, anything can happen in Formula One, and it might just do, and it usually does, is what he said, of course, and Murray is completely right. Anything can happen in Formula 1, anything can happen in the Legacy Division, and it usually does. Barisal on top, Magician there in second, Kai Pearson in third, Joe Murphy now, another one that I called a specialist around here in Saudi Arabia, currently in 13th. Bunga Racing Team currently in the mud at this moment in time with Joe Murphy. However, their other driver, of course, in the Aston Martin out with Magician, currently in Q2. Reese decided to go for a set of intermediate compound tyres, by the way. Joe Murphy lags his way coming through the right-hand of turn number 2, then down through the left-hand of turn number 3. But this is a big lap now needed for the BRT, man.
Yeah, and we've got to get this one all hooked up together. You can see him just coming through the sector 1 now. He's having a pretty decent... Oh, it's a clip of the wall, though. Left hand side, it's set him off track. No. And that is it. That'll be it for BRT Joe Murphy. He might have enough time to get through again, but he's not going to have a really good time to regain a lot of battery back. Yeah, but you see the slight clip of the wall on the left-hand side has cost him his lap. He went straight on the curb, and that is that lap finish for BRT Joe Murphy. An exit looking likely for him. Giovanni just starting off. MVR Stonks is decently making his way through sector 1 now. He's got to try and hook his lap up. He might not be safe in P6, but it should be enough with that 26.1. But he just wants to confirm his entry into qualifying through. His teammate up in P4, he'll see himself through, but he is 4.5 tenths down in the first sector. That's definitely not good enough for MVR Stonks if he does look to improve on this lap, if he doesn't think he's safe.
I wonder actually if this is tactical potentially from the NVR man, because 26.1, he feels like he's safe. Otherwise, I don't see a mistake there in sector 1. I was following him throughout the entire first sector. Unless it was turns 1 and 2, where we didn't really catch on with. There was no mistakes there from Stonks whatsoever. And again, he's down in the middle sector, but I wonder if this is actually to get rid of a set of soft compound tyre, and then keep potentially a second fresh set for Q3, where it's really needed the most. I wonder if that's what the plan is potentially for NVR. Matteo on a lap as well, just starting up. Ruti just starting up as well. Gavano was through the middle sector. 59.2 in the middle sector from the NLR man. He is suddenly coming alive. He's on the brink point at the minute with a 26.7. His final sector as well will be considerably quicker than what we've seen, as now he comes into the final couple of corners. He's got a little bit of traffic though ahead of him. He needs to get out the way, the Haas, and he doesn't. I don't think he actually sees him coming through the final corner. Bit of a slight love top, but I think it's Danze Icor going around in 9th position. Gavano, though, on the run to the line, again gets a bit of a tap, 26.2. Danze Icor, though, absolutely ruining the NLR man's lap there. Unfortunate, nothing he could do. He was running AI mode, for goodness sake. Grimbles was 3.5 tenths up as well, coming through the middle sector. Now can the French team get on the board with G-League? Grimbles and Ethan, 11th and 12th position. Joe Murphy, Sergio, Nando, all on laps as well. Nando's actually just behind Grimbles on the run toward the line. We come then with the Frenchman as he comes towards the line. Is the G-League man going to be safe into Q2? Q3? No. 26.3, Ethan 26.2, Nando 26.1. Is that enough potentially for him? Joe Murphy, though, 7.5 tenths up in the middle sector. Nando was not safe yet. Now he is, though. Ruti, I don't think, is actually on a run in the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, he's backed off his lap. Joe Murphy, the only one to come across the line. So Nando was safe. Going into Q3, OP once again though, scraping through, but the skin of their teeth for the BLT man, the Irishman, on the run to the line. Joe Murphy goes 7, puts him there in the mix, same lap time as Matteo, and BLT get both of their drivers through in Q3, along with both Cornell Racing, one of course for F7R, two, both of them of course for Novus Racing. Goodness me, my words are absolutely not coming out of my mouth there. Matteo there through for ET8 as well. Nando through for OP and Chizu. Ruti through for Team Chizu there in the Alfa Romeo. But look at the gap, Ross. Ruti to Gavano, 7,000ths of a second between Q2 and Q3.
Yeah, no, it's really, really big. And I tell you what, that block from FRT Dan has cost Giovanni his place in qualifying 3, arguably. It looked like he was having a really solid lap, and if he got that lap in, it would have been both Shizu drivers out in qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. But Ruti Gullit saved by FRT Dan unexpectedly. Yeah, Dan's finished the eye was right in the way of Giovanni, and that's just, yeah, it's really, really unlucky for Giovanni, and he won't be seeing himself through into Q3. Maybe there'll be a big support on the whole blocking situation. Whatever happens, so he's out of qualifying 2. And I tell you what, though, James, BRT Magician looking really strong now in the end of Q2.
Yeah, really strong indeed. BRT really coming alive, I think, in that session, as well as Joe Murphy getting through. Same lap time as Mateo. It is Reese Linton, the word on top for Parnell Racing from BRT's Magician in second. F7R's Taicho Hardy there in third with Kai Pearson in fourth. Another one for Parnell Racing there, looking very strong. 700ths of a second, though, covering the top four. Could be interesting. Axe there in fifth for Novus Racing. Then Mateo in sixth for ET8. Joe Murphy in 7th for BRT, the second of the guys getting through BRT. Stonkston through in 8th position for NVR. Nando through for OP in 9th, and then Shazoo in 10th, getting through with Ruti Hullett, former NLR man, knocking out his fellow former teammate in Gavano, Sergio, Ethan, Grimbles, and Dan. Final 5 to be knocked out there in Q2, but we now get forward, of course, into qualifying 3. Should be an interesting one, and if it's anything to go by, of course, Ross, top 10 could be covered by potentially 3 or 4 tenths of a second. It could be that close.
Yeah, and I really hope it is that close. Cause I tell you what, so many drivers capable of taking pole position. Reese Linton, Kai Pearson, BRT Magician, F7R, Taicho, everyone in this qualifying 3 session able to get that quality lap together and take pole position. Who's it going to be is the bigger question. But Reese Linton definitely looking like the big favourite. He's had 2 top in the sessions there with qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. Now, making it the 3-peat with qualifying 3, getting pole position for the race will definitely be his aim for Parnell Racing. You see XF1 and MVR stalking through as well for Novice Racing. OP Nando Jr. in the end did end up getting through after that little bit of controversy near the middle part of qualifying 2, but you've got to get a good lap in now and see if you can split the 2 MVR drivers and make it a bit harder for them to score some good points today.
Yeah, Nando was more than capable on his day to be up there, even fighting with the Parnell Racing guys. I think even fighting with BRT's Magician, he is well and truly a very good driver. It will be overshadowed, of course, with his actions there in Q2. Might get investigated, of course, by the stewards. We can't say anything more than that, however. But Nando, I know him really well from PSF1. And he has done such a phenomenal job. You've seen him if you've been a regular to console tiers, of course, across PSGL and WOR. Nando, very, very consistent in his performance, very, very consistent in terms of his driving, has a very good attitude, like most of the OP gang as well. And I really hope that he can actually just shed a little bit of light away from what happened last night. It can actually turn the attention on him, turn the attention on OP. They are more than capable of doing that. I want to see that. Everyone else, I'm sure, in the chat wants to see that. Ruti, by the way, the first man out on track for Shazoo. But we will see who is going to be out on top. And hopefully, we get to see a very, very decent qualifying session. And Frankie saying who invited Taicho in Q3. He's a bit of an imposter among us. I potentially think there for Taicho. But regardless, a very good lap. The F7R man through, as well as the top 10 who are now going to battle it out with 10 minutes of qualifying to go. And Q3 about to get started with Ruti on his lap coming through the first sector.
Yeah, Ruti just first man out on track. You see that really clear track ahead, no one ahead of him. He can really set himself up for what will be a properly good qualifying lap attempt. I think everyone, I think other than a couple of people, might have only 1 set of fresh tyres, but Kai Pearson and Reese Linton definitely both have a set of fresh soft tyres to use. 2 fresh sets, should I say, sorry, they have to use in this session. So they may be a bit earlier on the first set, then as late as possible they can for the second set. They want to try and avoid as much traffic as possible, because I'll tell you what, blocking out that last corner is looking to be a big problem for some people. Nando Jr. seen it. Giovanni sadly lost out to Q3 because of it, so hopefully these drivers can keep it clean throughout all of the track and really set themselves up for a really exciting qualifying 3 with another really exciting race ahead of us in the Legacy Division. Qatar last week was, well, arguably one of the races of the season. Jeddah can really try and up that.
Yeah, definitely. So some funny comments, by the way, coming through for with regards to what happened with OP. Some of them are absolutely classic, by the way. So thank you to everyone that is going to come in. Liam Bowman, by the way, is coming with a pole prediction. Get your pole predictions in terms of Q3 here. Liam Bowman has said a 25.592. That is remarkably quick compared to what we've seen so far in Q1 and Q2. A 0.369 there for Francesco. 0.637 there for James. Not for me. Sav as well, 25.3, he is saying from his perspective. That is Frankie saying that. But we'll go on board with Ruti. He's going to set the benchmark for everyone. I believe he's on a fresh set of rubber because of the graining that we can see on the right-hand side, or on the U side, I should say. Coming out through the left-hander of turn number 4, then through the right-hander of turn number 5. And Ruti Hull, of course, formerly part of Next Level Racing, Never Last Racing, of course, now part, of course, of Shazoo, recent signings to their team and looking to try and provide with a solid result for the man in Q3 as he comes through the middle, the first sector split, 31.4 in the first sector, looking very reasonable so far, as Ruti.
Yeah, really close to the wall here on that entry. A second 2 at turn 13 in the long left-handed corner, turn 14, 15, 16, 17 attacking out this right-hander. It's a little bit slower in towards that right-hander. They're not as aggressive as we've seen some drivers be on entry at that corner, so you know they're turning a little bit too early. It's the hit of the wall, and it's your flap all over there in the middle of sector 2. But through this part of the track, 203 miles an hour hit for Shazoo. Ruti Gula is carrying on through the lap here, another part of the straight. You can see that end of sector 2 and the whole of sector 3 pretty much being a full straight. You can really eye up and overtake down the inside into the last corner, maybe even get a good exit and go for it down the start finish straight. Here it comes in, last corner, dropping it into third gear nice and late at the apex. Towards it goes to the line. You can see a short amount of DRS needed to help you across the line, as much straight line speed as possible. Foot to the floor for Ruti Gula. He crosses the line. It's a 26.1. It's a decent little early lap by the Shazoo driver, the only Shazoo driver into qualifying 3. Sadly lost Volakongen in qualifying 1. A big surprise to everyone on the stream. But MVR Stonks running the final corner now as well for his first lap for Novice Racing, looking really strong in a qualifying, looking to get a good position for Novice Racing, trying to out qualify Nando Jr. Stonks across the line. He does go to the top with a 26.024.
Yeah, next up as well, Magician. Both BRT drivers are actually next up to come across the line. Magician's looking a little bit slower than the guys, maybe on a U set of tyres. 26.7, definitely on a U set from him. John Murphy may be switching it, actually. He did use a U set in Q2, not going for the U set, it seems, in Q3. 26.195 from him. Taja Hardy, by the way, in ballad through the first sector. Reese Linton now on the run toward the line with Parnell Racing. Parnell have looked invincible so far, I've got to say, in Q1 and 2, as now Reese comes toward the line. And a 25.4, are you kidding me, in terms of that lap time? Absolutely lightning quick. Kai Pearson must be on a U set, 25.8. Reese Linton, well, congratulations, my friend. You're on pole position. Nobody's beating that.
Yeah, Reese Linton, what a lap. That is nice and early. Kai Pearson in behind him. It's a PR1-2, MVR 3-4. That is such a strong start for them. Nando Jr. across the line, though. He jumps into P8 for Outplayed Racing, the only Outplayed Racing car, into qualifying 3. But what a lap that is by Reese Linton. I'm pretty sure he's probably got a bit more in it. He'll know himself if he's got a bit more in it. He'll come back out on his last set of fresh tyres. That's F1 as well. Good start for him with MVR Stonks just outside of that 25 barrier. But I can definitely see a 0.3 in that Reese Linton lap, because he didn't have the cleanest lap of all time, but he definitely got a bit more time to gain, and it'll be really, really good to see if he can do it.
Joe, by the way, saying on the chat, get a life, Sav, please. And yeah, I think potentially looking at that lap, I think we can maybe agree with that. Retail on top from Kai in second, Axe there in third. It is Parnell Racing from Novus Racing, which is very interesting because they're the front two, of course, in the championship coming into tonight as well. Outplayed Racing, of course, are out on top in terms of the championship. A reminder of the championship standings coming into tonight. Outplayed on top from 188. Novus Racing in second on 161, but Parnell Racing in third, Joe, on 142. 19 points off them. Solid Q1, Q2 so far. Solid Q3 so far from both of them. Novus Racing now third and fourth on the back foot in Q3. Parnell Racing are not only here, they're here to play, and they're here to try and dominate.
Yeah, they can get a dominant win under their belt, make it 3 in a row to join Outplayed as the only two teams to have won a race this season. Outplayed also had 3 in a row. Now Sam Gamer has went 2 in a row for Parnell. Now it's Reese Linton and Kai Pearson's turn to make it 3 in a row for them. But XF1 and MVR Stocks will not let them have it lightly. They're still going for their first win in the WR Legacy Division, their first season in the Legacy Division, and I tell you what, they are looking like strong favourites for at least a podium finish for the team. They're really going for the win here. They can outscore Outplayed Racing. They really will be going for a really strong finish today, and looking forward to next week's race. Kai Pearson and Reese Linton making their way into the pit lane. A very busy pit lane so far, but drivers will be sorting themselves out, getting ready for it. Will be one final lap of 10 from everyone in that pit lane.
Nicolo, by the way, saying in the chat very interestingly that he did a 24.9, so a 0.2 is possible, or a 24 I think is possible, is what he's trying to say there from Nicolo's perspective. Liam Boot there saying PR, question mark, cooking I guess. Totally cooking at this stage, especially with Reese out on top. Kai there in second, Axe in third. I can't believe, actually, we've only got 3 minutes to go in this session. This session has flown by. We're only going to get 2 runs for these drivers out on track as well. Taja Hardy, though, down in 10th Baptism of Fire coming in from the PC side, back to PlayStation once again, has really attributed himself well as Magician's coming out the pit lane to start his final run. Taicho has attributed himself really well. He's up against it with no run on the board, but we know him so well, Ross. It is going to be really intriguing to see if he can get a lap in, where he can place the car, and more importantly, do his team proud.
Arguably the fastest driver on PlayStation, back on F1 at 22. Now looking to see what he can do for them here on F1 at 23 in the Legacy Division. He's had so many strong races in the past for Talent Factory when they were still a team. Sadly closed down, but back again for S7R, and he's really showing up so far, getting into qualifying 3 on what will be, I think it'll probably be his return race on the PlayStation platform. Spent majority of his F1 23 time on over on PC in the high PSGL tiers. Now we're going to see if he can do it on PlayStation, and I tell you what, he's definitely not looking out of shape here. You can see everyone out on track though. It's Nando Jr. who's just making his way out now. Everyone out on the track. The Aston Martin of BRT Magician leading the way. He will be the first man to set one final lap in this qualifying session.
Oh, and we've got Reese Linton. Francesco, I think, said in the chat he's going to, the TF10 man of eyes, I think, in the chat. That said, hopefully we don't see an illegal blocking 5-second penalty. Well, you've just got one, which means immediately it's an illegal restart. It's a restart but it's an illegal penalty, basically. That's going to be removed, and we're going to get a restart, of course, which means the intermission screen is going to be working tonight, which is very, very decent indeed. But we are aboard with Magician, coming out through the latter part of the lap on his out lap currently there, through the left-hander at turn 26. Through the left-hander turn 27, Harvey there saying in the chat, will be a lobby restart. It definitely will be a lobby restart, normally with illegal blocking. And no matter what league it is an illegal, it's a legal penalty, so therefore we remove it immediately by restarting the lobby. And Malone saying in the chat, game is ready for esports. Great to see that. Yeah, totally agree with that. But Magician on the run towards the line, down in towards turn number 1, 26.7, currently his best. What can the BRT man do on this lap?
Yeah, see if we can hook up this lap for one final time. Magician looks really strong at the back end of qualifying too. Has he got enough in him to beat Reese Linton? Well, only time will tell. As he flies on through this first sector now to really clean through those first 4 corners. Now through turn 6, turn 7, 8 and 9 and 10, attacking now with that left hand side curve right out the right hand side curve of turn 11. Now 12, looking towards the end of sector 1. 4.5 tenths up on that time already as BRT Magician. You can see where he gained all that time, how good he had of that first sector. Through the middle sector comes now. Still keeping it really, really grounded in the Aston Martin car. The blind right-hander, one of the hardest corners on the track to hook up. He's hooked it all brilliantly. DRS will now come up in about 200 metres time for the Aston Martin car. Joe Murphy only up in 7th ahead of him. He's down in 9th at the moment. He's got to get this lap in, because I tell you what, if he can hook up together, it'll be astonishing. Still 5 tenths up, our purple middle sector for BRT Magician. That's still enough to put him up into at least the top 5 and gain a little bit more in his final corner. It could be a front row start for him if he can hook it all up together. Magician, one final corner to go, just a final corner at turn 27. It's long left-hander, he drops it late in the 3rd gear at the apex, gets a good exit, 4th gear, 5th gear, up the gears he goes. DRS opens up now at the rear wing for him. Can he cross the line, and can he jump up from 9th? He can. It's P2 for BRT Magician at 25.831.
Yeah, but a huge lap time coming in from Kai Pearson. He's the 4th to come across the line, but he is 4 tenths up nearly in this middle sector, and he is absolutely huge. Looking for Parnell Racing a 1-2 here. They're Murphy there across the line to go into 2nd position, so good lap time from him. Apologies a little bit of lag there. Kai Pearson on the run to the line doesn't go quicker than Reese Linton. Reese Linton currently out on top. Axe currently on a lap. He's 2,000s up through the 1st sector. He's coming through towards the middle sector split now. He's down. Ignore him. Matteo as well. 0.2, 0.3 now down actually in the middle sector from him. Ruti is on the run toward the line. Nando as well just in behind on the run to the line along with Tycho Hardy. Ruti on the run to the line. Does he go quicker? Yes, he does. Goes 7th. Good lap time from him. Nando on the run to the line. Tycho Hardy goes 3rd. Big lap time from him. Nando to the line. Goes 8th in the end. Same lap time actually as Axe. Ruti there. Only 400s down on that lap. Matteo barely improving. He may as well come in the pit lane. I don't think he's going to improve beyond Ruti. Doesn't. I think he did improve though to a 26 flat there from Matteo. That is the end of a fantastic Q3 session, dominated by one team and one team only. It is Parnell Racing, and it is Reese Linton out on top. Remember, that 5-second penalty gets removed. He is not starting down in 6th position, but it's Reese from Kai. It's a 1-2 for Parnell Racing. Tycho Hardy there in 3rd. Joe Murphy in 4th, along with Magician there in 5th for BRT. Then Stonks in 6th. for NVR. Then also with NVR, Axe in 7th, same lap time as Nando. We set that lap time sooner though, which is why he's 7th. Nando there down in 8th. Ruti there in 9th, Mateo there down in P10. Fascinating qualifying session there. We will be back, of course, when we get the lobby restart underway. It will be restarted for sure, which means we can take a slight intermission from our sponsors, Next Level Racing and GridFinder. We'll be back with you, well, as soon as the lights go green. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR Legacy Division. Thank you so much for sitting patiently, first and foremost. It is not easy being a viewer, not easy not knowing what's going on, but we are still waiting for Joe Murphy to join the lobby. I believe he might be having a few technical difficulties right now. The BRT man. Otherwise, he is just getting his setup in for the 25 laps that we've got here in Saudi Arabia. Of course, a repeat of what we saw last week. Sam Gamer out on top from Sav in second. And Ross, you commentated alongside me for that one 2 weeks ago. Sam got Sav through the final corner on the run to the line. Very similar precedents here tonight in terms of the track. Are we going to see the same potentially with other drivers out on track just replicating the same result?
Yeah, no, we really could see, the same amount of battling. So we know that MVR know that they need to try and see how much they can outscore OP, but if they can get a big advantage on OP tonight, it really could be a point solve for them. Ryan coming from the back with Keane ahead of him, Taicho, all these strong drivers having to come from the back, Keke as well, strong driver from the back. So many people having to make comeback drives tonight for their teams, and well, it's too many for them all to happen. I think something's definitely going to happen with all those guys.
Yeah, definitely so. Pono Racing, of course, out on top, not in the standings, out on top, of course, last week in Sam Gamer, out on top in terms of the qualifying session tonight. Reese Linton and Kai Pearson, first and second. Apparently they don't exist for an existing team. They do. They are running under Pono Racing. A little bit of precedence of being given actually for Pono Racing to still race under their existing name with their existing team roster. They've of course swapped a few out, but it really brings again that argument of what are we going to see from Parnell Racing moving forward. Again, it's only for this round. I'm led to believe it's only for this round. Their new rebrand or whatever you like to call it might be happening this time next week. So if we do see that, you'll probably see it on social media first before us, and you'll probably see it before we come back live, of course, next week for round number 7. But regardless, I think they produced a really brilliant performance. Parnell Racing did close down. However, they produced a really good performance out on track here tonight with both Kai and indeed in Reese. So we'll see how that is going to unfold out on track. Outplay Racing course out on top on 188 points. Novus Racing in second on 161. Parnell Racing in third on 142. We are now getting loaded into lobby. Quick work from Ryan to get the lobby back underway. F7R in fourth, of course, on 113. Team Shazoo in 5th on 100, then G League 6th on 98, Bunga Racing Team in 7th on 71, NLR and ETA tied on 8th on 65, ETA of course down, I think on Countback in 9th, and Future Racing Team that in 10th on 50 points. But what I can bring you, hopefully, is a bit of good news, and we can have a look, of course, at the track map in question for what is going to happen here in Saudi Arabia. 6.1 kilometers then 3.8 miles, 27 turns awaiting the drivers out on track. A who's who of potential corner overtakes as well. A who's who of battling out on track. This, Ross, is now game time for the drivers.
Yeah, no, it really is. Just get your head down, do as best you possibly can, because if you mess up that one little corner, it can all go wrong for you. If you turn in a little bit too early, one time it's wing damage, turn in too late, you're going straight on, you're picking up warnings. You've got to be so concentrated for these next 25 laps. The longest street circuit in F1 history, the fastest street circuit in F1 history, and well, it really is one for the ages with Reese Linton on pole for Parnell Racing, Kai Pearson and behind him for the 1-2, Taicho Hardy in third. Really, really exciting grid ahead of us.
Yeah, really exciting grid ahead of us as well. And in terms of my prediction, I made a prediction, a very bold one off stream, which you didn't catch, but certainly Ross caught it. I have predicted Keane for a potential P5 finish, so no pressure whatsoever from further down the field. Parnell Racing, though, out on top. This is going to be really interesting in terms of how their racing will progress, and hopefully, keeping the team politics and everything aside, hopefully this is going to be, for the pure heart racing fan amongst us, which I know all of you are, hopefully this is now top-tier racing delivered by top-tier drivers, and this is all we come to expect from these guys, of course, in Legacy Division tonight. But Ross, of course, coming into tonight, Avatar saying a big opportunity for safety cars. Safety cars pretty much around this track have been 100% in the 3 races that we've had, of course, here in real life. Gonna be interesting to see if we do get one, maybe even in the early stages of the race.
Yeah, no, it really could happen, but it's one of those things that if it comes early, it messes up all the strategies and people might do different things, but whatever happens with these strategies, see a couple people, or a lot of people have picked the hard tyre. You see Ruti Gullit has picked the soft tyre in P9, Ryan and Volkogan as well, also on the soft, but I think the majority of people will be doing the hard tyre. If the safety car comes out early, it could be a medium, whatever they do, whatever they choose to do, it must be absolutely spot on, or it's really going to affect them.
Yeah, hards, mediums, hards, I think is going to be the two given strategies that we're going to see. Potentially from the drivers. I know there was a bit of suggestion in the chat there as well. Potentially we could see the man, of course, in P1 of Mr. Reese Linden going out on a set of soft compounded tyres potentially, and then Kai holding them up on a set of hard compounded tyres. I think that was Francesco. I'm not sure who it was, but I think it was Francesco that might have mentioned that. That would be very intriguing if that does happen. Of course, dropping down the field as well, the likes of your Kians, the likes of Volakongan as well, potentially could eye up a set of soft compounded tyres as well. Look to try and go for a set of mediums towards the end of the race. Might be the quicker strategy of the two, but we are about to go lights out very soon indeed here in WOR Legacy Division, sponsored by Next Level Racing and GridFinder, of course. And of course, you can check out all their products. You've seen the chair in the background there as well. But hopefully we do see some really good racing. And speaking of the racing, let's get underway. 5 red lights about to go out here in Legacy Division, round 6 of the championship. And it's already lights out. Now where you go, and Reese has really got off the line. Taito going to be alongside Kai in towards turn number 1. And there could be the block-on effect in towards turn 1 between Parnell Racing and F7R. Taito tries to go to the inside line. Magician as well. Joe Murphy getting involved there in 4th position, trying to go on the back there of Taito Hardy. There's been contact further down the field. Axe is the one that has spun. Coming through turn number 1. Maybe a slide tap potentially with Magician through that. Nando was getting positions early on as well. He's up to 6th early on, but Reese there leads. Kai in 2nd. Taito Hardy in 3rd. No splitting of the strategy, it seems, though, from anyone out on track, as Dan has spun coming through the 1st sector, and that's coming through turn 8 and 9, running wide off track. But Reese there leading, Kai in 2nd, Taito in 3rd, and everyone on the set of hard compounded tyres.
Yeah, everyone doing the same strategy. Typical through on Grimbles. Looks like we have some damage there on the Alpine cars. Yeah, a big instant was in the midfield between Dan. I think Dan has some damage as well, but I can see Grimbles has no plates on either side of his blink, so that'll be major understeer for him during the part of these corners. There's no wembley for him. Keke, he's got to try and get by cleanly without getting blocked or even trying to run into the side of Grimbles. Getting a terrible start for Axe F1 as well. Down in P20, he got spun round at turn 1. I'm not sure what happened, if he got rear-ended or whatever happened, but yeah, he'd been caught out and he's now down in P20 with a comeback drive needed for the novice racing driver. So yeah, really big comeback needed for there, but Reese Linton and Kai Pearson got away really, really well, and now it's the case of working together and building that gap to Taito Hardy.
OP making moves as well, F7R making moves on the first lap. Keane already up 5 positions early on. Fantastic stuff from his perspective. Yeah, the T-tray, as I'm calling it there, from Grimble, still going. I think he's going to come in the pit lane, though, to come on to maybe a set of medium compounded tyres, then transition to a set of softs toward the end. Could be a 2-stop strategy, but now they Constantine up as they come through the left-handers again, turns 2 and 3. Reese there leading the way from Kai in 2nd, Taito Hardy there in 3rd. Joe Murphy in 4th, Stonks there in 5th, Nando in 6th, the Magician, Ruti, Matteo and Gavano top 10, Ethan, Sergio, Ryan, typical, Kian top 15, then Keki, Volakongan and Axie were continuing on. Axe, I think, got spun in the first corner, which is why he dropped down the field, may have actually overshot the run in towards turn number 1. From his perspective, ran wide, he's down in 18th position, he's a bit off the pace. Grimbles and Dan, though, into the pit lane. Timing towers will fix themselves, I'm absolutely sure. But looking at the position gains, most positions gained, Kian. 5 positions gained, Ryan up 4 as well, so OP and F7R currently making moves. 2 positions gained respectively for Nando, Ethan, Typical, and Keki getting 3 as well. 1 positions gained for Stonks, Ruti, Matteo, Gavano, and then Volakongan right towards the back end of the field. Parnell Racing, though, currently running 1-2. Taito Hardy in 3rd, Joe Murphy in 3rd. But put it this way, F7R not going to make it easy for the 2 guys in front.
No, they can't make it easy for them, as they're just going to run away from them really, really quickly. Taisho's doing his absolute best to see if he can just stick with these 2 ahead. He knows they're going to be fast on him. He knows that he's also been a bit inexperienced with PS on this game, but I'm sure he's done his practice. He knows that if he just sticks with them, they won't be able to pull away from him as quickly as they might want to. MVR Stonks up there in P5. GL Ethan getting through on Giovanna. They're wheel to wheel going down the start-finish straight. They've got Armateo just up ahead, but they're going to be really close together going down the straight. But GL Ethan has claimed that P10 position, and through he goes up in putting a P10 on NLR Giovanni, who obviously really missed out on qualifying 3 after getting blocked by FRT Dan, who was down in 20th place and really well out of the positioning so far. Grimbo as well, after his wing damage, is down in 19th. So Shizu Bolakonga, not really many positions gained for him. Keke and Keen, you can see that overtaking opportunities early on for these drivers is not coming together. Usually we see like Keen and Keke getting through quickly, but staying on the same strategy, you're not really trying to do that.
Yeah, definitely so. Again, the sound may be glitching on your end. I apologise. Hopefully that has not just crashed OBS. My picture has just frozen, which is not great at all whatsoever. Give me a second. I will try and fix this if I can. Hopefully it does actually fix itself. Otherwise, we are absolutely down the pan in terms of the action out on track. Yeah, something has happened. There we go. We can go back live. I am an absolute genius in terms of my work. Magician there and 7 on the back of Nando. Thank God that one didn't end up in tragedy. But Reese there leading, Kai in second, Taichi Hardy in third. Of course, DRS now enabled. Magician right on the back of Nando. We're going to try and utilise that to good effect. Nando running much better straight line speeds though. On the back of Stonks. Stonks not running any ERS, I don't think, at this stage. But Nando there in 6th. Doing a good job. Stonks there in 5th, just hanging on for now. Nearly clips the wall there on the right-hand side. Nando on the back of him, and now Parnell Racing going to swap the drivers, it seems, because Kai and Reese are now side-by-side, running in towards turn 1, and Kai gets the job done on Reese, and Slooney's into the lead of the race, and Parnell Racing once again dominating the affairs out in front. Sergio, though, dominating to the inside line, and Gavano in towards turn number 1, now through the right-hand of turn number 2 on the exit of the chicane. I think Gavano's just about got this one, comes out ahead, and Sergio has to remain in behind, but looks to the inside line of 4, doesn't work.
Yeah, and I was just not able to get that line really get nice and early and through on Ethan. So Ethan's able to sit ahead through this first sector and just keep it together as best as they can. You see the front though, Kai Pearson and Reese Linton really managing this race really well so far. Already about 5 laps in, the laps tick by really fast, especially when you're just doing this DRS train thing. Taicho Hardy has got to try and close up to these two and put some pressure on them when it comes to overtaking. If he can get close enough to Reese Linton when he goes to overtake Kai Pearson with no DRS, that really is a bad position for them. If he can split those two, it leads to a lot better thing for him, especially for like Joe Murphy and MBR Stonks as well. They can get entered into that battle for the lead. OP Nando Jr. stuff in P6. OP Ryan gained some good positions in P13 as well. Axifon still down in P18 after getting caught up in the first lap. Damage for him, I'm not sure. I don't think there is. I think he's just trying to get back in that train after dropping out the DRS. But in that midfield pack, loads of drivers willing to get him. Mateo is really close to the back of Shizu Wutahula. He might think about the mover on the outside and towards this last corner here. Mateo is really close to the back of Wutahula. He picks the inside line. He might go for it down against it. He gets given the space. Nice and done by Wutahula, but he holds the outside line and he's gonna might be able to get the move done back on down the straight. Wutahula's got DRS, and Mateo's straight line speed is not actually. I think he had an advantage in the straight line speed. Never mind. He sits behind Wutahula once more time, and he's in P8 still.
Yeah, he looks to the inside line, actually, once again. Mateo on the back here and around the outside on typical. Beautiful move, actually, from the F7R man. The Dutchman coming out on top there. I think the Austrian even coming out on top there. The McLaren man in 14th. His father is watching. Be definitely very, very proud with that one, as Keen now through and making moves out on track up to 14th position. He goes. Grimble and Dan, ignore them toward the back end of the field. They'll come into it. Of course, if the safety car gets deployed out on track, they will bunch up. So Grimbles and Dan have still got a chance. Of course, points pay all the way down to the top 15 as well. All get points. So very important, even if they're on the medium compounded tyres right to the end, which is frankly impossible around this track. But if they are to the end of the race on those tyres, they can still fight for the back-end points positions, which for G-League and for FRT are very important, because that not only secures them in the top 10, but also secures them moving forward in the Legacy Division as well. But Restyle leading the way, Kai in second, Taicho in third, like 5 out of 25. The race currently flying over. Stonks on the back of Joe Murphy, looking interesting there, coming through the right-handers of 22 and 23, but Stonks there on the back and trying to close in on the back of the Irishman once again. No point on racing, swap the cars. Kai leading the way, Reese in second. Put it this way, if there's any team orders going on between Parnell Racing right now, non-existent, because both of them are swapping until their heart's content.
Yeah, they're going to keep on swapping positions with this DRS. You can see Taicho's closing up now though to the back. He's about 7 tenths back on him before this lap, and he's about 3 tenths on this next lap. So he really is starting to close up. Looks like a mistake there from Kai Pearson into turn 1. So Taicho just has to stick in behind them as much as possible, follow through the dirty air. I know it's going to be tough, but if he can stick through as close as he can with these two in front, well, it's going to be an easy trip for him to get by Kai Pearson and hopefully get by Reese Linton and lead this race. But with these two ahead, really being the two fastest on track, working together, it's such a hard task, especially with his teammate down in P14.
Yeah, definitely so. If Keane, of course, did not have that qualifying ban, I think Keane would have been well up there in terms of helping Taicho right now at this stage. Taicho controlling his own race, 98% of ERS, in fact, full battery of ERS now for Taicho in behind. Kai's on 90%. Reese on 94, so they're all pretty much around the same level. Joe Murphy on 97, Stonks on 100, Nando on 100, Magician on 90. You get the picture in terms of the top 7, in terms of their ERS usage right now. Kai once again on the back of Reese, running down in towards turns 22 and 23. I don't think he's going to look for the move down this one, but it is possible to go to the inside there. I've tried that myself in real life, in my racing around here in Jeddah in the past. And put it this way, I did actually pull off a move down the inside line. So Kai on the back of Reese, looks to the outside line, going to swap the cars, but here's Taicho Hardy on the outside line as well. Might have not worked for Parnell Racing. That is literally though tactical, I think, from Reese. He's going to have that DRS regardless what positions he's in. Taicho Hardy now on the back, running towards turn number 1, but it's Kai that leads. Reese in second, Taicho there in third. Parnell Racing managed the front of this race really, really well indeed, and they're now going to block off Taicho in towards turn number 1. The team game's now in complete and utter play, and Parnell Racing currently holding sway in front.
Yeah, just as expected. Those two, as I said, Taicho just putting the pressure on. You can see Reese Linton having to defend the inside line, using battery he doesn't want to use. Early on in this race, Taicho keeping all his. Kai Pearson on about 80% out in front as well, so he's really trying his best to just keep ahead and just have to use where he can.
Nando!
Nando Jr. with a mistake. He must have went straight on with the curb on the outside line. He's also went a bit wide, and now he's lost 2 positions there with BRT Magician and Suzuruti Hula go through. That is big for the championship fight. Nando Jr. losing out, and MVR Stonks obviously still staying in P5, but Nando dropping points is really, really big. He was right on the back of MVR Stonks, able to make that move probably on the end of this lap as well.
Yeah, Tony Hawk style, I think that was on the outside curb coming through the left hand of turn number 8, which is unfortunate for Nando, loses the position to Ruti. And now, because of that flaw, potentially getting caught on that curb, he's got Matteo and Sergio right on the back of him. And you do not want to let ET8 into your front room to try and get on the back of an OP man. Put it this way, ET8 are there and there to play, no matter if they're late joining the championship or not. They're going to swap the cars once again, Parnell, but it's not going to work because Taicho Hardy once again to the inside line. Is he going to look to the inside line and get this move done on lap 7 out of 25? He's now alongside on Kai as they come now towards the line once again, and Taicho is going to try and desperately get out of a box, might be given inside room, but again, absolutely perfectly poised by the Red Bulls. Taicho Hardy knows the games they're playing, sits back, relaxed, but Kai Pearson makes a mistake through turn number 1. Reese on the exit's going to get the better run. The Kai in the end controls that car, still leads the way. But put it this way, Parnell Racing, if they keep this up, they're playing an absolute bloody blinder.
Yeah, it really is starting to show how really good it is having your teammates so close to you. But Magician and Joe Murphy, if they can get into this fight, get past Taicho themselves, well, that can be an interesting one as well, with both BRT drivers able to help each other out. Stonks left all alone up there in P5, his teammate down in P18, nowhere to be seen to really help him out. But everyone else, yeah, with the two Red Bulls in front, just playing them, as you said, the absolute perfect team game, boxing them in, not letting them by. Taicho might have thought the outside line, but that would not have been a really smart move. You can tell he's been a smart driver here, following the back of them, picking his moment to get by. When he sees that mistake, he's going to pounce on it.
Yeah, and fair play as well to Taicho. He knows exactly what's going on with PR. They know exactly the plan. It's now counteracting that plan is what is going to be an operation for the F7R team. They've got brilliant engineers. These teams are much better than us, certainly in the commentary box, because we can only see what's going on in front of us. They know the ins and outs, of course, of what the plans are out on track. Plan A all the way to Z, I'm sure, is going to be an operation. Once again, Parnell swap the drivers in front, Reese the way from Kai in second. No team orders in effect, it seems. Red Bull Ferrari really to the back there. Nando, once again, making a slight mistake. Very late on the brakes he was. Nearly went into the back of Ruti. Actually comes out ahead of Matteo running down in towards turn 1. But these are now side by side. Mercedes and Ferrari. Ferrari now going to be in the box effect as well, potentially for Nando. In towards turn 1. Could get a little bit tight. Nando to the inside line on Ruti. Might actually pull this one off. This would be a brilliant move. The OP man can do this. A Portuguese man now on the outside line of the Finn. The Finns tries to fight through turn number 4. No way you're going to get 2 cars through there. They're going to try and make it fit. But look at the DRS now. Ebbing away for Ruti and Nando. That DRS opportunity now gone. The split has now happened in the field. Ruti hangs on from Nando. Put it this way. Brilliant driving between them both. I thought there could have been carnage there, but that was well avoided.
Yeah, one of them had to back out there. It's not a place where you can go 2 cars wide, too wide through that corner. Nando was too strong in the ERS. He knew he didn't want to go through there, as you said. They're Kian, yeah, right on the back of GL. Ethan Giovanno on the back of Kian as well. This train has been really banged up due to that heavy battling they all just had there. Ethan had a terrible mistake. Kian right on the back of him. Kian
3 wide.
him, but he's going to go through on the inside. You can see as well, still battling ahead. They're all still going for it at each other. Reese Linton and Tyjo Hardy, so much action everywhere. Giovanno through. Keke might think we're getting through, and Ethan as well. Everyone's getting swallowed up. Ethan especially after that mistake for the right hander on the left. You see here though, Tyjo Hardy going to follow Reese Linton through. Kai Pearson's going to try and use ERS, the defending inside line, but Tyjo Hardy finally gets a breakthrough. Does he though? Because Kai Pearson's back up the inside. He's got the inside line, but Tyjo Hardy using the battery advantage that he's got DRS as well. But look at the slipstream from Reese Linton ahead. It's the teamwork. It's so beautiful, James. And look at this again. It's so good. Reese Linton defends, but he may have to defend a bit harder this time because Tyjo's back up the inside, but he's got the inside line to the next corner. Kai Pearson and Reese Linton, masterclass in defending.
And look at the Irishman in behind on the hunt. Joe Murphy involved in this battle. Stonks involved in this battle. That now split from Ruti downwards has now actually began to be covered up. So they're all back within DRS train. Everyone down to Volokongan and Axe are in that DRS train. Volokongan and Axe outside of that. So it is really top 15, top 16 even, separated by a hair's breadth. And you can literally throw a towel over these drivers out on track. It's phenomenal to watch. Kyle there leading. Rice in second, Tycho there in third. I'm thinking, as I've said in the chat, about lap 11 or lap 12, potentially onto the set of mediums. They normally last around towards the halfway stage, the hards, before they drop off in terms of optimal performance. So the mediums will be coming into play even probably from this lap onwards, actually. So it will be interesting to see what the drivers do out on track. But Joe Murphy, the Englishman, doing a fantastic job. I might be saying he's Irish, but he is not. Guy in front from Peace in second. Tycho there in third. We'll roll with it if he is Irish. Tycho there in third. Joe Murphy there in fourth. But everyone now on the hunt. Potentially, we're going to see first pit stop being made once again very soon indeed. Reese on the inside line of Kai. Swap the positions. Tycho remains in behind. Nearly runs into the back, actually, coming to the final corner. But Connor Racing still 1-2.
Yeah, you can see just he cannot find a way through. Tycho doing everything he can, trying every trick in the book, but these two being the fastest on track helps him enough. But with the defending that they've got, the advantage they've got with the slipstream and the DRS, no one can get by. You just need that little bit of a mistake from them. But two drivers as good as these two, you won't see that mistake come anytime soon. Yeah, Kai and Reese having a fantastic race so far. As you said, James, I can definitely see pit stops coming soon. Undercut attempts will be made. I would presume for the likes of Joe Murphy, Stonks, and Magician Ruti as well. You know, these guys in this train, stuck in this train, want to try and make their way up the field. Might try a little bit of an undercut, but majority of these drivers will probably pit around lap 13, 14, and just try and stick with the train and what they've got now.
Yeah, but look at Gavano and Typical into the pit lane. Set of medium compound tyres on, well within that train in the mid-pack. They're going to have a huge undercut potentially on the field. Drivers in front may have not noticed that, especially toward the likes of Stonks, Magician, Ruti, that sort of area. You do not realise one of your rivals has come in. That is a real given advantage for Gavano and Typical later on in the race. They're going to have fresher tyres now. Toward the end, puncture territory could potentially happen. But Kai there leading, Reese in second, Tycho there in third, the Englishman and Joe Murphy there in fourth. I will correct my nationalities for sure. It's difficult when you're commentating over 3 leagues of the week and you've got however many drivers to commentate on in all of them. But Stonks there on the back of Joe Murphy, looking to try and get the job done again. A bit of a box effect going on in front though, because Tycho now hanging off, and maybe a look into the pit stop potentially for Parnell. At least one of them could come in. They're going to remain as they are though. Coming in toward the pit lane though is Magician. So the BRT man, one of the first main protagonists to come into the pit lane. Sergio follows him in. Bit of a real lock there into the pit lane. Ethan also in. That is more to counteract, I think, the Varnum and Typical than actually the leaders who were staying next.
Yeah, I know they're really starting to gain that advantage now, hopefully with the tyres coming into a nice window. 13 laps to go in this race, and finally see some pit stops from the front runners. Magician and Sergio trying the undercut onto the medium compound of tyre. They're going to do their very best here to see what they can do. Giovanno coming through the first corner now with F1 Typical. Out comes Magician, and out comes Sergio behind Giovanno. possibly Typical and Giovanni have gained a massive advantage. As you said, James, they pit that one lap earlier, and it might have worked to perfection. The FRT and NLR engineers can't give themselves a pat on the back. This could be a sensational one. And once these guys all come into the pit lane, I can presume that Joe Murphy could be in this lap as well, along with Stonks, maybe even Taito, trying to see if he can put an undercut on Reese Linton and Kai Pearson. But whatever happens, Typical and Giovanni have gained massive places.
They have 2 to 2.5 seconds, the undercut around here in Saudi Arabia. Anywhere in between that, and you are really on course for a very good race, and very good second half of the race at that, as Parnell Racing Team once again swap the cars. Maybe Reese Linton being forced to defend, maybe off Taicho until the left-hander of turn 27. Mateo side by side with Nando though in the background. The Mercedes tries to look up, the Mercedes-shaped gap was never going to be there. And Kai Pearson into the pit lane, Reese stays out, Taicho and Joe Murphy in as well. Stonks I think has folded in along with Ruti, so they're all into the pit lane. Nando also in, means Reese now leads with a 2.3 second advantage. Reese is now, if he wants to try and back this up for Parnell, he's got to treat this now like a qualifying lap. Everyone's in for set of medium compound tyres. There is now no given for Reese to try and through. This is now game time. This is his qualifying lap, ideally, in the race. On lap 13 out of 25. Typical backing that up with the new fastest lap of the race as well. So the mediums are working. And look at where these guys are coming out. Magician is ahead of Kai Pearson coming out the pit lane. And Typical side by side with him. Kai Pearson now is what? Net P2 potentially out on track, but maybe not for long.
The undercut from Magician is fantastic. Look where he is. He's so far ahead of Typical now. Kai Pearson. He gained from that undercut attempt, and it's worked to perfection. BRT engineers, give yourself a pat on the back, because that is incredible from those guys. Giovanni's in behind as well. They're going to gain big positions here. Taito's in behind them as well. So Taito's lost big behind Sergioli, Giovanni. And you see ahead as well, Reese Linton will be into the box. He's burned practically all his ERS that he had. He's on 95% as he started off the lab. He's on 55 now at the front. Mateo as well will also be into the pit lane, on with Keke and probably Kian along with those guys. So yeah, you can see the undercut really is really strong around this Cornici circuit. And they'll all come round the final corner now. Reese Linton into the box. Mateo following him, and Keke is staying out for one more lap. Kian also staying out. Opie Ryan staying out as well. So you can see a mixture of strategies being chosen. That undercut from Magician is really good as Kai gets through a Magician now with that extra bit of tyre advantage. He will be able to make the overtakes a bit nicer. Just Taicho and Sergio Gamuto. Taicho trying to go for it, not able to get through. Giovanni stays ahead. Sergio going for the inside line though to keep on going down the straight. Taicho going to make a 3 wide, and they're going to go through within the turn 1. He's going to be up the inside. Sergio certainly with the late braking. It goes late braking. Taicho on the outside. They don't bind together. They get through nicely. Sergio and Taicho wheel to wheel. Taicho's got the outside line. Switch to the inside for
Joe
Sergio.
Murphy.
And now switches to Taicho with Joe Murphy. Is out in between everyone. Joe Murphy's thinking about the move, but Reese Linton is came up behind Joe Murphy.
No way.
Reese Linton's attempted it. Joe Murphy go wheel to wheel now. Through they come the sector 1. They can't stop battling. So much is going on, James. What is happening in this race? But Reese Linton losing out big time.
And Stonks has lost that big time as well, because he's nearly in the wall, coming through the left-hander there at turn number 8. Just about recovers the car. He's lost positions though to Nando, to Ethan and to Ruti. Unfortunately for him, Novus Racing dropping points at teams early on. Keki leading, Kian second, Ryan third, Axe in fourth, Volakongan in fifth. Now remember, Kian, Ryan, Axe and Volakongan, none of them have been in the pit lane, so this is now game time for them. They're swapping up and down the field. Reese Linton gaining a position on Gavano. Kian now ahead of Keki. Keki, by the way, stayed out there because he's trying to cover off Gavano. He wants to try and help him later on in the race, maybe with a split strategy onto a set of soft compounder tyres, but he's now into the pit lane, Keki. Kian staying out, Ryan staying out. Axe is coming through the final corner along with Volakongan, but the front two now, Kian and Ryan staying out, suggests to me, Ross, they're going to be on a set of soft compounder tyres towards the end. By golly, they are the quickest compounder tyre around here. They will be at least 2 seconds quicker lap. Oh, as Axe goes straight on and towards turn number 1. And Volakongan is through and he's into third. Axe straight on to turn number 1. Not sure if there was a bit of a rear lock or a brake failing potentially there, but Axe there, down in fourth position. That's exactly what happened on lap 1. It's come back to bite him again on lap 15.
Yeah, Axis 1 just having a big problem at turn 1. Now those hard tyres will be absolutely dead. Coming to a roundabout now, that final drop will be hit. Kai Pearson must think about trying to get past Axis 1, who has a big mistake now. Easy. On the exit of Sector 1. Two goes at the entrance of Sector 2. Kai Pearson is through on Axis 1, and he will be able to break away now and create a gap to BRT Magician. This is going to give Kai Pearson a massive advantage and taking the win for Parnell Racing. 3 in a row it seems for them so far. Kai Pearson and Rhys Linton have been really strong races, but now get Taicho through on Typical as well. Beautiful. FRT Typical had no way of defending. Taicho gets through and up into P7.
Yeah, put it this way, any bad malice that we had last night in PSGL, this has all gone to absolute pot. This is brilliant racing. This is exactly what we should be seeing from the top level racing out on track here in Legacy Division. Thank God I'm in the commentary box for this, because this is really tense. I'm really on the limit, and speaking of on the limit, Sergio and Rhys are side by side. In toward the left-hander now, turn 26, in towards turn 27, catching very quickly. Is Rhys on the back there of Typical as well. Gets on the brakes, Kean picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Maybe transitioning onto that to the soft. We'll have to wait and see. Rhys is now lining up the move on though on Typical. Ryan though is going from a set of soft compound tyres. Kean is not. He's on a set of mediums. They're dropping towards the back end of the field. Rhys looks towards turn 1, not getting the job done on Typical, and remain as we are with 4th and 5th position at least. Kai Pearson now leads 0.3 of a second over Magician. Taicho there in 3rd, Typical in 4th, and Rhys in 5th. Joe Murphy and Sergio are side by side in towards turn number 4. That could have ended in tears there from the Aston Martin man, but the Englishman doing a good job there on the back of the Italian, who's there in 7th position. Ruti, Nando and Cavano round off the top 10. Stonks, Matteo, Ethan, Keki, Kean top 15. Ryan into the pit lane for a set of soft compound tyres along with Grimbles. Axis came out in a set of mediums. Dan and Volokong, the 20 drivers still continuing. No safety cars, no VSCs, just pure hammer and tong racing. This is the pure motorsporting fantasy that we are experiencing here in Legacy Division, and I'm living every moment of it.
Yeah, this is really what you want to see in the Legacy Division, the highest tier of console esports racing. You can see now Rhys Linton goes to the inside on FRT Typical, and easy goes through with a DRS and a bit more DRS advantage. MVR Stonks getting through on Giovanno as well. Giovanno, a bit older tyres, not able to hold off the fresher MVR Stonks, who's now up into P10, trying to fight his way back through the field after all. It's a very poor pit stop call from the MVR team, but still going on to Sergio Murphy. FRT Typical thing, back down the inside, holding the inside line on Joe Murphy. He might have that DRS advantage though on Typical. Typical tries to hold it, but it's not enough for him. Joe Murphy keeps the DRS to Rhys Linton ahead, but this fight for the front has just got so much more intense. Rhys Linton is breaking his way through. Magician is right on the back of Kai Pearson. Taicho still invited as well, so Rhys Linton's got to get his way through. Taicho, Ruti, sending it on Sergio in the background there. He's still going to get the outside line on Sergio. Sergio's got the inside line for the next corner. One of them's got a back out. We've seen Ruti and Nando collide during the last lap. They tried it again, but this time Ruti,
my word!
Into the wall. Ruti's, I don't know if he's got damage or not, but I think he might have saved it before he hit the wall. But big snap, now down at the P12.
He isn't the P12, but put it this way, if he has saved that, it's the save of the season so far in Legacy Division. Brilliant recovery from Ruti. How on earth he hasn't got rear wing damage, I do not know. He is fine in terms of the damage. Brilliant recovery, and look at him to the inside line of Matteo, and actually gets the move done through turn 13. Brilliant stuff from Ruti. He's back through. Matteo there in 12th position. Everything now happening out on track. Taicho there on the back as Matteo's left the session. That is why it looked a little bit easier than first thought. But Kai Pearson leading the way. He's nearly out of DRS train to the back of Magician. Magician's just about in there in terms of the DRS. He didn't actually pick it up down the straight there. He's going to be within the DRS range this time around, but he's got Taicho on the hunt. Rhys in behind on the hunt, and the McLaren and the Aston Martin now side by side as they come in towards turn 27. Easy for Taicho, up to 2nd, and Rhys now looks to the inside line on turn 27, outbreaks him to the inside line. Beautiful stuff, and Magician's size now beginning to go off the boil. Kai there leading, Taicho 2nd, Rhys in 3rd. Lap 18 out of 25. They keep this up, this is race of the season.
Tell you what, crucially though, James, OP Nando Jr. and MVR Stonks, the title rivals, are right next to each other. Ryan just got back into the points after Matteo was actually into the pit lane, possibly some damage after a collision with Joe Murphy it seems, but he seems to be going on quite nicely. MVR Stonks must be thinking about getting past Nando Jr., knowing if he outscores OP today, he can really give MVR that advantage that they need to get ahead of OP ahead of the next few rounds coming up, but he's got to try and get past at a track where there's not many overtaking opportunities except in Sector 2 and Sector 3. They're on the exact same length of tyre, Typical with 2 lap older tyres ahead of them. not got any DRS, does the FRT driver, to Magician and Joe Murphy ahead, who will be working together now. They seem to pick away the field and maybe get a double podium for Bunga Racing Team today, which would be absolutely mega for their chance of trying to fight for a podium position on in the driver's standings and also in the team standings as well.
Yeah, definitely so. Nando on the back of Typical, by the way, down the straight. This should be easy from the Portuguese man. Looks the inside line through the kink of 21, and this is easy for Nando. Through his interstate. Stonks is coming very quickly on the back of Typical. If he was even quicker, I think there could have been contact there, but luckily not. Reese on the back of Taicho as well. There's so much action coming on. We've only got one camera angle, and it's me on a controller trying to cover it all for you guys at home. I really hope you're enjoying this. If you are, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. Kai Pearson now in front of Reese. Reese now ahead of Taicho, but they're going to go 3 abreast down and towards turn number 1, and Taicho shot out of a cannon takes the race lead of both Parnell Racing drivers. F7R take the lead. Reese in second, Kai there in third. That was not on the script potentially for Parnell. That is more for ERS, I think, gain as well as tyre management towards the end of the race. But F7R now in the lead with Taicho Hardy. Does he now escape and break away, or does he try and let Reese and Kai into a bit of a full sense and let the BRT boys get into it as well?
Yeah, big moment in that race. Taicho knew if he picked his moment, he could get by on Reese Linton and Kai Pearson at the exact same time. But Magician and Joe Murphy have got to capitalise. They know that they're in a weaker position now with Kai Pearson in third, and Magician really close to the back of Kai Pearson. If he can get past him, he can give Joe Murphy a big chance. He can play a bit of hold it for him and get him by to steal himself a 3-4, which would be fantastic for Bunga Racing Team. Opinan Jr. is still ahead of MVR Stonks. He's now
Mateo!
There's a retirement on track. Mateo, I think it might have been a lag out the session glitch, unfortunately, for Mateo. ETA losing out on some points. He already left the session, but that time was really lucky for him. But what's I said though, Joe Murphy needs this to just work for him. He needs to try and see if he can get by with his teammate at the same time to these two ahead, because Reese Linton and Kai Pearson are easily the two fastest on track.
I've just recognised what's actually happened with Mateo. I think his AI has actually come into the pit lane to pit him onto a set of medium compound tyres. Frustration there nonetheless. You can't really retire on track. I think it's against the rules, so there's going to be a real slap on the wrist. There's going to be a penalty potentially coming the way there for ETA. Reese though on the back of Taicho once again. Round 3 about to commence. Not quite. Reese is going to remain in behind on Taicho. Smart move, I think. Mateo once again rejoins the session, but he's out of the race. He's retired. He's going to come back in, maybe to engineer for Sergio was what I'm thinking. He's there in 8th, now not there in 8th. The typical side by side with them coming out of turn number 2, but Stonks in there in 7th, Sergio in 8th, Typical 9th. Really good battles up and down the field. Again, this is top tier racing that we are seeing here in Legacy Division. Stonks still struggling through the first sector, or was it Sergio? I'm not quite sure. I thought there was a bit of contact there with the Williams and the front wing coming through the first part of the track, but it's all fine. Varnell there losing the position to Ryan. Ryan now trying to mince his way through the field, and that set of softs, but Taicho leading, Reese in 2nd, Kai Pearson in 3rd. We've got 5 laps to go after this one. Buckle up, fasten to your seatbelts, get the popcorn. This is going to be a hectic final 5 laps.
Yeah, this really could be one of those exciting endings to a race we are going to have all season long. Qatar was good. Well, this one could be even better. Stonks has already been dropped by OP Nando Jr. burning all his DRS to try and drop his championship rival out with DRS, but it's not been successful for him. He's trying to get back in the DRS of BRT Joe Murphy. He's pushing all he can. Stonks has still got the DRS to OP Nando Jr. He's got that advantage now. OP Nando Jr. no ERS, no DRS. He's going to be losing time as he goes down the straight. Look at the advantage that Stonks gained with the DRS. 5/10 again with the DRS. You've seen Nando Jr. being harmed so much due to not having a DRS. Now he comes back down onto the start finish straight at the front. Reese Linton gonna get through again on Taicho Hardy and Kai Pearson again, coordinated from PR, but Taicho's having none of it up the inside. Again he goes. He wants to hold that outside line in the next corner. Kai Pearson's gonna have the better line for the corner though, and Taicho, being the smart driver he is, will back out and give that one to Kai Pearson, who will now probably play a bit of hold up for his teammate ahead.
Yeah, and this is now crucial in the race. This is the opportunity for Reese that he needs to get away and win the race. Is PR going to get a 1-2 though? Out on track. Kai's luckily just within DRS range. If he can remain that way and just use up a bit of battery, he's not using any, which I think now it's turned from plan A to plan B. Plan B now, I think, in the Parnell Racing playbook is Kai hold up Taicho, get the gap out for a second and escape. But now Kai back within a second, not an enemy, and he's actually pulling away from Taicho all of a sudden. So maybe what I've just said in the last 10 seconds there has gone out the window already. Reese there leading from Kai in second, Taicho there in third. Springy in there saying in the chat, if only we had battles like these and in real life Formula 1. I totally echo that, and I totally agree. And I really hope that you are all enjoying this. What has been a phenomenal race. It can get aggressive towards the end of the race. I hope it doesn't. This has been a really strong showing from every single driver out on track. This is exactly what the League Racing community needs to get on par and get equal once again. Taicho looks the outside on Kai, maybe to try and get the switchback throughout the final corner. The McLaren on the power, coming out through the final corner. But the papaya colour car, I don't think is going to draw alongside down the straight unless he's got jet-propelled, a jetpack underneath that car. He's coming at him in towards turn 1, but he backs off and waits. Reese there leading, Kai in second. Parnell have a stranglehold, but maybe not for long.
Yeah, they're just back in that 1-2 position, but it's just not enough to hold out for the moment. Taicho has got the ERS advantage on Kai Pearson. Kai Pearson's burning to keep ahead. He wants to keep a gap to his teammate so he can confirm that win for Parnell Racing. BRT Magician and BRT Joe Murphy in about this fight. James, I can't believe it. From first down to 14th place, everyone is within DRS of each other. This could be one of the most hectic endings we've ever seen in the Legacy division. And I tell you what, I really hope it is, because this could be one up there with one of the best races of the season. Taicho still in the DRS of Kai Pearson. Kai Pearson's really struggling now to keep with his teammate, who's trying to pull the gap almost to just from Taicho Hardy, who's going to be trying to push really hard for F7R. Their score will be hopefully their first win under the new name of the PSR rebrand. Has won before, but they're still yet to win the WR Legacy division. They're going to try and do it here this time though. DRS open for F7R Taicho. He's going to try and see if he can close up that gap to Kai Pearson, and hopefully he can get by and make it much more interesting at the front.
Yeah, definitely so. Parnell, in terms of that trade book mark, Christian's got it spot on, I think, in terms of that. Ever thought about keeping each other in DRS? That's exactly what they did in the end. They got that gap out for a second. The first sector was very technical, so no wonder he lost that little bit of time. But I'm totally in agreement with that. They, of course, are trying to gap the likes of Taicho, the likes of Magician, the likes of Joe Murphy as well. But this has been controlled to an absolute T from the Red Bulls. You can't argue anything about that. Taicho, though, if I know him really well, and I do, because he is a brilliant driver on PlayStation when he was there, of course, as controlled in PCF2, Taicho doing a fantastic job in third. His plan now, I think, is to try and exploit any weakness in Kai and Reese's armour. For now, there is no weaknesses. They have been brilliant throughout. Brilliant to watch. And Taicho now maybe just beginning to feel the effect of those tyres. He's losing time. Magician's on the back of him. It could get quite tense towards the end. I'm not saying Taicho's going to be potentially in the fight. He is. But if he gets out the gap and those tyres begin to drop off, Kai and Reese have a stranglehold in this race, and PR are looking at the 1-2.
Yeah, I know MVR stonked crucially 3-second time penalty. That'll drop him out down to P14, and that'll be looking at minimum points almost for MVR. What was going to be a decent little haul for them with Ryan down there in P10 and Nando not that high up. They were going to be decent enough, but OP have clawed it all back. Ryan with the soft iron made them work really well, and he's just going to see if he can pick up as many places as possible. Looking at it's going to be a P6 and a P8 for Nando and Ryan, which is a good recovery drive for what was a poor showing and qualifying by both those drivers. But PRT Joe Murphy knows he needs to get something done. MVR Stonks closing up to the back of Sergio as well for ETA. He's going to see if he can do anything for the Spanish-made team as well. Onto the straight they come though. Kai Pearson still just trying to keep with his teammate as much as he can. Teammate doing his best to keep him in that DRS, but they can't keep in it for long. They don't want to lose too much time to Taicho, who we know has been saving ERS. He's going to go for it probably on this final lap into turn 1, possibly into the last corner as well. Leave it as late as possible to go for it. BRT Magician and Joe Murphy are still in that fight as well, but Nando Jr. crucially dropped out with the DRS. He's going to struggle to get back in it.
Yeah, I was going to say a lap ago, is there a forgotten man in this race? And is it Nando there in 6th position who could really capitalise in any instance that might happen in front? But now he's dropping out of DRS range. I think that's gone out the window because he's got to defend off Sergio, got to defend off Stonks. Kian as well, 9th position. If he hasn't got that 5-second penalty overhanging him, he will be really up here in terms of the pace. It's been a phenomenal race. He could even get what I said off stream, a top 5 finish. And I'm not even going to say that anymore because I don't want to put more pressure than what's on his shoulders right now. But Reese escaping up the road. Kai in 2nd. Taicho there in 3rd. Taicho on the back has got more ERS than Kai. Is he going to go for the move in towards turn 22? No. Kai just within DRS range. They're playing it perfectly at the minute, but he doesn't want to get too far out of that DRS range and then let Taicho potentially become the hunter on the back, as now, speaking of which, he is the hunter on the back of Kai in towards turn 27. Might have to go for this if he wants the race win. Goes to the outside line, should get the job done. He's much later on the brakes than Kai. Kai there to the inside line. He carried too much speed though, Taicho, through the final corner. Loses that gap now. On the run towards the line once again. Starting the final lap here in Legacy Division. Reese leads the way. Kai in second. Taicho there in third. Taicho cannot find a way through though. Down in towards turn 1. It's all going to come in the latter part of the lap as Stonks to the inside line, on the outside line of Kian in towards turn 1. Tries to get the job done. Sergio might not have to fight this because of the penalties ahead. 3 and 5 seconds respectively for Stonks and Kian. But Sergio there in 9th. If there's any instant, he's going to take full measure.
Yeah, he's just trying to see if he can just pull as much of a gap as possible, Kian, to those behind to see if he can pick up any points for F7 Obviously, Taicho fighting for that second place. It looks like Reese Linton might have this one in the bag. 8.5 tenths clear, but on everything he's got, just putting together pretty much a quality lap during this final part of the track. You can see he's doing his best to keep his teammate in the DRS of himself, just to keep him in that 1 to 2 position for Parnell Racing, which would be a fantastic result and a third race win in a row for them, matching OP for this season. Magician pushing away, Joe Murphy pushing away, Nando Jr. doing his best to see if he can keep ahead of Kian, the people behind. Taicho finally going for it, as we said. He looks to get past right now, but Kai defending really well on the McLaren car, but through the final sector they come. Taicho's got one more opportunity to get by him.
He has indeed, in towards turn 27. Look at the car. Absolutely closing up. I don't think he's done enough, or has he? To the outside line towards turn 27. This is going to be bold from Taicho. Might get the run through the final corner. Kai has a bit of a rear lock on the inside line. Might give Taicho a chance on the run to the line. Reese will take the win though. Kai, I think, is going to hang on for second. He does indeed. Reese wins. Kai in second. Taicho there in third. And I think there was 3 wide coming through the final corner there in the background. Brilliant racing between them both. Magician was the one that was 3 wide. He was 200th of a second off Taicho at the line. Absolutely brilliant racing out on track. It's Reese that takes the win. Kai in second, F7R in third. For now, what we're calling Parnell Racing, because they are known as that for this race, whatever they are going to be in terms of their rebrand, put it this way, I want them completely on my shoulders. Welcome to Legacy Division, and welcome to a 1-2 finish in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, no, that was really something else. Magician as well, almost stealing the podium from Taicho. Was really close in the end of it. The typical as well, just missing out on that top 10 finish for FRT. I'm sure he's happy with what has happened there. His first race in the Legacy Division turns out to be a pretty successful one for future racing team who are in need of points, trying to get off that bottom spot currently down in P10. Kiki given his driver of the day, but I tell you what, one of those front runners definitely be getting it for me. The engineer call from the Bunga Racing team guys there with Magician pulling them in nice and early and getting that undercut was fantastic, and they gave them a very good P4 and P5.
Yeah, fantastic stuff out on track. Again, all clean, hardly any contact. That is exactly what we needed after the actions of particular individuals last night. This is exactly the tonic that we can all drink to, because it was a brilliant race, the best I've seen in Legacy Division in my 2 seasons being here. Brilliant stuff. Phenomenal racing, phenomenal teamwork. It had everything. And it is the Red Bulls of 1 and 2. And it is Kai out on top from... Sorry, Reese, I should say, out on top of run through the order. It is Reese out on top from Kai in second. Kai with the fastest lap of the race as well. Even more domination to their order. Taicho there in third, Magician in fourth. That straight was a little bit longer. That could have been well and truly different for the first 3. Magician potentially robbed of a podium by 200th of a second there. Joe Murphy there in fifth. A phenomenal job from Bunga Racing team. Nando in sixth with Ryan in seventh. OP coming back to their best, it seems. Real capitalisation in terms of their points. Sergio there with Ruti and Keki ran off the top 10. Then typical Stonks, Gavano, Keenan, Axe top 15, all provisional of course with the penalties. Volokongan, then Ethan, Grimbles, Dan. 19 drivers finished. Matteo retiring. He took control of his car and apparently it caused all sorts of frame rate issues, all sorts of lag. Unfortunate for Matteo, and down at the back of the field, DNFing out of the race. No safety car, no VSC, hardly any contact. That is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, exactly what it was. And I tell you what a fantastic race that was in the Legacy Division. I tell you what, that's 2 appearances I've made, and they've definitely been 2 of the most fantastic races that I have seen in my esports commentary career. Fantastic race in Qatar. That one I don't think it was as good in the end, but what an ending it was anyway for the Red Bull guys, taking that 1-2 for what might be a different name next week as Parnell this week. So congratulations to those guys on that result. As well as BRT picking up really big points on their charge for that third place position currently in Novice Racing, who arguably had a really disappointing day with P12 and P15 for MVR Stonks and Axe F1, who's got caught by the incident early on, which cost him as well. But yeah, no, next week, Spa-Francorchamps, another fantastic drag, an absolute classic on the F1 calendar. I can't wait for that one. I really hope that you all are available there this time next week as well.
Yeah, longest track on the F1 calendar, plenty of history, plenty of racing to be had around Belgium. Then we go to Mexico on the 17th of October, the 2 weeks, of course, before Dia de los Muertos, or, of course, Day of the Dead, i.e. Halloween. Spain there for round number 9, the second sprint race of the season to come up in the second half of the season, along with Bahrain on Halloween. I couldn't think of anything better to do on High Halloween, that is for sure. Netherlands then after that, after the second transfer window and the second break week, and then it's Japan, Abu Dhabi, Brazil, and Las Vegas to end off the season as it currently stands. Phenomenal racing though out on track, Ross. I will love to do it all again once again alongside you next week. It's going to be absolutely brilliant to witness, and hopefully we can continue the great racing that we had this week.
Yeah, no, I really hope we can do. Well done to everyone racing tonight. Obviously, no safety cars tonight, which is really a breath of fresh air. Usually league racing nowadays is full with safety cars, but tonight none at all. And well, yeah, that really was a really fantastic race for everyone. I really hope they enjoyed that. I hope as you as the viewers enjoyed. I think we had a peak of about 130 viewers. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really hope that I am here next week alongside you, James, for what will be another fantastic race around Spa.
Yeah, definitely. So I cannot wait. Bring it on. If you saw me on if you didn't see me on camera, which you're not, I'm sweating out buckets, quite literally. So I don't want to show my face on the stream. But I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We will leave you in the capable hands of our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing and indeed GridFinder. For myself and Ross, we bid you farewell. Thank you so much for watching the action here in Saudi Arabia. And until next week in Belgium, goodbye.